Very nice
Yeah.
to see you today.
It is good to see you.
It's good to be seen.
Let me scoot on in.
You're not plugged in.
Oh, that's why.
Where's your cable?
It's draped across the top of your board right there. It's going to the left. There it
I was like,
is. There's Star She Blows.
Yes.
well, next time you can just plug it in. It's just a red one, right?
No, I don't touch your board, bro.
You can. I don't care.
Well.
As long as you're plugging in your cables, I don't care.
Well.
Don't fuck with the sliders, though, man. Those are mine.
Sliders. Who doesn't like a good slider?
You know, I don't know if I've ever had one. The tiny burger?
Yes, like, what's
But
the
now they got the smash burgers or whatever.
What is this?
Also, which I haven't had.
What is a smash burger?
I think
That's
they take...
the In-N-Out thing, isn't it?
I don't know, but I've seen them at different
I do like sliders, though. They're like 2 bites worth of a burger is what they are.
Yeah.
And you can, I mean, I've never gone to a White Castle, but if I ever get a chance to, I'm absolutely going to buy like a big
Oh, I'd go if there was
bagful.
one around. Oh, yeah.
I mean, anytime I go past a Dick's, I have to go in and get myself at least 2 or 3 burgers,
2 or 3 bags of dicks.
and get a bag of Dick's. I actually, what's really funny, and I know I've mentioned this before, but I love mentioning it, is I commented, or I posted a photo of a bag of Dick's cheeseburgers, and it says, in Seattle, a bag of Dick's is not an insult. It's a dinner invitation.
Right.
And Dick's Drive-In actually liked it.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, I've been trying to get Taco Bell to like my post for a year, and those bastards here in Renton won't even give me the time of day.
Oh, mean old
Taco Bell or Taco Time?
Taco Time. I'm sorry, Taco Time.
I was gonna say.
I don't do the Taco Bell.
No, Taco Time's great.
Yeah, Taco Time's one of my faves.
Oh.
There we go.
Speaking of...
faves.
Welcome everyone to Our Town
Complete me.
Podcast. Please take a moment to like and subscribe, share if you can, and review if available. We'd love to hear from you, so comment below and tell us how we're doing. Don't forget to visit ourtownpodcast.com for all the links and join the members only section of the website or sign up on Patreon. Now here are the boys of Our Town Podcast.
Oh, my favorite part of the day. Yay!
Getting to hear your teenager give our introduction is
Yes.
always fun.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Welcome, everybody,
Yes.
to another exciting edition of Our Town Podcast.
Extraordinaire!
Coming to you from is it the I Am Renton? It's still the I Am
It is
Renton
indeed.
space.
Oh, no.
I Am Renton space here in beautiful downtown and
Will be.
historic Renton.
At this point, it is the Our Town podcast space.
Wow.
We're the only ones that are
Only,
using
you know.
it.
Thank you,
okay,
Jeff.
yeah, I mean,
Thank you, Jeff. I'm only playing.
yes.
I'm only kidding, Jeff.
JK.
Oh boy, boys!
say.
Episode 104, first one
What?
of 2025.
Wow.
Which is just nuts.
Yeah, it's 2025 right now.
Right this second.
Oh, it's
So,
bonkers.
how long into 2025 before the things of Vegas and New Orleans happens? I wonder.
Oh, geez, it was seconds in, and I'm glad you brought that up, Todd, because tonight's safe word is come on, man.
Yeah.
Because it's like one day into 2025.
Not even a whole
Yeah,
day,
it's
man.
huge.
Yes, it's hours into the new year.
Yeah.
And we got this
Like,
shit.
I mean, it's awful. It's
I
awful.
saw the video for the Tesla first, and I was like,
Oh,
oh shit, one of those things exploded right in front of Trump Tower? What are the odds? But and then I found out that it wasn't like a random Tesla explosion because of battery problems. It was somebody had loaded it up with
gas
and fireworks and
not hunting, camping, cook
I
stove,
think it's
canister.
alcohol or something.
and then like the next video I'm doom scrolling when I'm seeing this stuff, and the next video I see is New Orleans having the guy like run through Bourbon Street and like knocking people over and running over people.
Yeah, that one kind of hits because I love me some New Orleans. I've been there quite a bit.
Oh, and it's awful.
I've
The
never
French
been to
Quarter is
and
Orleans.
great.
they're just people, man.
And it's just people.
It's just people. Stop
And it's
it.
always
Stop it.
the French Quarter is always a party. Doesn't matter. Everybody's there smiling and having a good time.
Yeah.
Probably a little drunk, whatever, but they're having a good
They're
time
just
living
being
life.
people. They're just being people, man.
And then
people,
this shit.
people have the right to be people.
And both of those guys were former military, U.S. military.
Yeah, so
evidently,
the
yeah.
guy that rented the Tesla pickup, he was the guy that was they're assuming dead in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't really know though.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and the last I heard was gunshot wound to the head. But then somehow or another, it's still detonated. So I don't think they know. But
Like he detonated and then shot himself?
Yeah, and there was a firearm, a handgun in the vehicle by the body's
Jesus.
feet.
And Chris,
But I don't know if somebody could just plop a body in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
Chris,
know.
my roommate,
right?
actually said that both of those guys rented the vehicles from the same app.
Which is
Yeah.
interesting, yeah. But I mean, I'm not going
I
to
don't know how
necessarily
many-
read too much into that. If they all
don't know how
rented
many
them under the
apps
same name or at the same time or
Yeah,
something.
then there's something.
But,
But I don't know how many.
I don't know.
Is there? Because we've rented from Turo before. The daughter
I've never
wanted
even heard
for her birthday. The wife rented a bougie car, which was a BMW convertible thing, and it was a nice gentleman that he and his wife bought the car because they were kind of bougie, but they started working from home, and they're like, well, we have this, $80,000 BMW. What do we do with it? So they put it on this Turo site.
Oh.
And we rented it for, I think, the day. And the girls went shopping and they just kind of drove around, picked up their friends. It was a cool little convertible. I didn't like it too much.
So
but
what did renting that bougie car cost you?
it wasn't very much. I think it was a couple $100. And then we had to fill up the tank. But it was a nice car. It was a couple years old, but it was a BMW. It was a roadster thing. I'm not familiar
So
with BMW.
is it just like really high end cars, or can you?
No, I think you can get whatever. The guy that took out New Orleans,
Oh,
it was like an F.
F-150.
Oh, but it was a
It was
electric.
it was an EV. Both cars were.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was one. I think was Ford, and the other one was a Tesla. So
Yeah, I think there's probably a market on there for unusual or high-end vehicles, but
Jeez, that's
I wonder if you can get a time machine through that app.
like a DeLorean.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. DeLorean.
Yeah, so if anybody's not feeling safe, which I don't think America and the world's feeling quite safe these days, but just yell out, "Come on, man!" and we'll stop this here program.
we
and
will
check
stop this program.
I still think that BC should absorb Washington State.
Cascadia.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, jeez.
I gladly become a Canadian.
Yeah, free healthcare.
Yep.
Well, not free, but
I mean, you pay into it like we do down here for Social Security.
yeah. I bet it's cheaper to pay in your tax dollars than it is to pay your monthly premium.
Oh, no, without a doubt.
Mine's $604 a month for my insurance
Holy crap.
premium.
Yeah.
Doesn't include dental or eyeballs.
Is that for the entire family?
Yeah.
No, that's for me.
No, it is not.
$604 because I had to go to the exchange. My company reimburses me $600 of that.
That's
so
nice.
I'm out of pocket $4 a month or whatever it is.
And then what happens if, like, deductible wise?
I have it's not a great thing. It's a higher deductible
All right.
than normal, but as often as I go to the doctor and stuff,
Sure.
I might change it next year, and next year will be my
Yeah.
my complete workover.
Somebody, I don't remember, I don't know where this was at, but somebody posted a photo
That's a lot.
on Reddit of Luigi from Mario Brothers, somewhere in Seattle, and it shows him has a patch on his shoulder that has the United Healthcare with with an X through it.
it. Yeah, I don't know. We got to get these costs out of. They're just
Well,
not,
just we can't keep buying into the
Yeah.
lie that profit motive makes everything better.
Yes.
because it
it
just
doesn't.
doesn't. It just doesn't.
It doesn't.
And in some
That the
places,
market will
it's
cure
just
itself and
cruel
all that stuff.
and silly.
Yeah.
But and I don't know. No.
Jeez.
No.
Well, boys, last week we talked about doing our top 5, and if you're not a member, you should be a member. Go to patreon.com or go to our website and sign up to be a member in the members only section. It's like $3 a month or $12 a year,
I mean,
$20 a year, $20 a year.
You can go. You can find all that on our Linktree. Linktree.
Yes, go there.
Linktree.r/OurTownPod.
Look it up.
And the homepage is on there, and the Patreon is on there. You can find them both.
Easy to find. But what we do is we do a bonus round not every week, but we try to do it every week. And we do a top 5 list just to give you an idea of our little pea brains and what we think
It's
about.
the inner working.
Yeah, and so last week we talked about doing a top 5 2025 predictions. So we're going to do that for you later, but that got me thinking about 2025 predictions, and I happened to notice a news article. There was a guy back in 1925. He was a scientist, and his name was Professor Archibald Montgomery.
I mean, come
and
on.
in 1925, this guy wrote a book. And it was basically what's going to be in 100 years. So it was his predictions of 2025, which were fascinating.
That's a big 100 years.
Yeah, his book was titled The Future, and he made about 100 different predictions. We won't go through them all about what life would be like today. So this guy, Archibald, Englishman, obviously, was a engineer, a research physicist, an inventor, and an author of over 40 books during his lifetime. He was the pioneer in many fields. He invented the first powered drone and worked on the development of television.
Drone?
I don't know what the drone was, but he didn't die until like 1950 something.
It's not like they didn't have machines.
Yeah, right. So he has been called the father of radio guidance systems due to his pioneer work on planes, torpedo boats, and guided rockets.
Oh, that kind of drone.
So yes, he's a guy that knows stuff. So he wrote this book called The Future back in 1925, and he got a few things right. He predicted that home loudspeakers and televisions would replace newspapers for us humans to access information and entertainment.
Jeez.
So, I mean,
that's big.
Yeah, because back then newspapers were the thing, right?
Oh, yeah. Radio was just barely happening.
Barely.
Yeah.
It wasn't, there was zero, I think, nationwide broadcast.
Yeah.
And just think another 20 years down the road, do we have, was it 20 years or 10 years before TV became a thing? Because it was like the 50s, wasn't it?
Well, I know TV started in the 40s, but there wasn't that much, and hardly anybody had it.
It was cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
And remember, I would say at least half of the United States at the time had no electricity.
Yeah, right.
It's
right.
Like not in any way that supported television.
Yeah. And you'd have to have huge broadcast antennas with powerful signals that could get to rural areas. So those people were just dark ages, right?
You think their brains would explode if they knew about how everything is today as far as digital goes?
I can't imagine somebody from
it would be like magic.
What in the world?
I remember my mom complaining about like the digital taking over and getting rid of all the analog channels. Like, you mean I have to buy a whole new thing just to be able to watch TV? This is stupid,
But you don't have to. You can still do, Mom. You can still do an antenna. And she doesn't care anymore.
Well, the thing is like all the analog channels were converting over to digital, so you had to get a whole new tuner.
Right.
That was her thing. She didn't care, but how it was still over the air. She had to buy another thing to watch TV.
Just another thing. They're going to keep changing it, and I don't know what the next thing is going to be. He also predicted that we would have moving sidewalks to save us from exertion.
I mean, they have them in the airport.
That's what I was going to say. He wasn't wrong, because they do have airport, the belts, the big long belts, and they have escalators. So I put that in the predictions that he got right.
Well, and electric scooters.
And don't they have those? They also have those at at the Florida Disney.
The moving sidewalks.
Yeah. Isn't that part of Planet Earth or whatever that ride?
It's been a long time since
I've never gone there, so I don't know. I just remember seeing videos of it and showing that.
I was there in like 91 or 2.
Wow. Back in our 20s.
It's a long ass time ago. He also predicted that energy would be harnessed from wind and tides by 2025.
Well, he's not
so
wrong.
he got that. I think his expectation though was that our electrical grids would be completely on wind and tide by then. He also predicted that the use of machines to deliver heavy and disagreeable work would relieve the unfavorable effects to the health of mankind physically and morally, so that we would be using a ton of more machines and robots and stuff, which he's not wrong, but there's still a lot of work out there that's heavy labor dependent.
Oh, sure, especially not in the rich nations, right?
Yes, exactly. Well, even here, I mean, like meat processing plants.
Oh, yeah,
stuff like that.
How do you think those guys would react to the self-checkout line in most places.
Yeah.
Like in restaurants and in grocery stores.
I think he would think that he just goes up like Amazon and you
Yeah.
push a few buttons and then it just like puts it on a conveyor and brings it out to you.
Remember those I guess they were like vending machines back in the 40s and 50s. You'd walk into a room and it was just a bunch of pulp things.
Yeah, no, it was great. The mat, what they call those?
It was like, but it was,
You could just
That's-
it was
yank
like a
it
whole-
and
it
the
was
thing
coffee and
pops
pie
down.
and
the whole room.
automats.
Automats, yeah, it was like a whole room. And you'd walk in and whatever you wanted was behind a glass or plastic door, and you put in coins or money, and then
Yeah,
open
no
the
wait
door.
staff.
Yeah.
I bet they come out
Those-
and get the trays once in a while.
I never saw one of those in person. I always thought those looked cool, and I think the first time I saw something like that,
They're
it was
big in Eastern Europe.
it was on like the I Love Lucy show, I think, or one of those.
and the TVA has one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Because he keeps getting key lime pie, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. What is he talking about? He's talking about Loki.
Yes.
He really loves the Loki.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah, he wasn't wrong there either. We do a lot of machine work that took the
And
place
we had
of.
inexpensive refrigeration, so we froze a lot of foods. Remember?
Yeah.
So between 25 and 50, we really started freezing.
Because back then they didn't have refrigerators like we do today. They had ice boxes.
Yeah,
that
you
ice
had to have the ice delivered and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Which
Yeah.
just meant food just didn't sit as long. And we didn't have the packaging that we do today.
Right.
To let stuff sit for years.
Looking at you, Twinkie.
Actually, the Twinkies, I saw that was one of those things that got busted on MythBusters.
Oh, the Twinkie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it did expire, and it became
to
hard as a rock too.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah, it was.
How did they age it?
They found one that was on eBay for
Yeah, Gypsy
Oh,
Curse,
really?
yeah,
that had
30-year-old.
it hadn't been opened in 30 plus years.
Oh, so gross.
And they opened it up, and it was like clank, clank, clank. Tapping
I'm going to
up.
go home and put a can of Spam like in
Yeah.
the crawl space, and then when we have an episode 30 years from now, we can whip it open. And,
Yeah.
Oh God! Why does it have to be Spam?
It's got enough salt to where it might just,
it might
just
just
hold
last.
out. Yeah.
I mean, if you're starving,
But the thing with canned foods and that Spam is pre-cooked. It's not like it's raw Spam. It's cooked
It's gross.
Spam.
If you're gonna
congealed
It's the
pig
floor
parts.
sweepings of
You're gonna
the
do
abattoir.
just Spam, at least do one of the ones that has like the cool flavor.
the flavor in it. I haven't tried one of those.
I'm curious,
bet
but
it
not curious enough to actually spend money on it.
Yeah, probably 2 or 3 years ago, I
Red
bought
Hot
a can
Cheetos,
of
Spam.
and tried it.
It's just really
It's just salty.
It's really salty ham, is
pork
what it is.
Yeah.
And if you fry it really fast on both sides, in being of Jewish persuasion, I'd say you're fish.
Yeah.
But you just fry it really fast on both sides, and then throw something else.
Wait.
You know what I mean? Like even if you do cheese or whatever, it makes it
you
great.
would
Like
just do like
it's
a fried
bologna,
rice
it's a
or
bologna
something.
sandwich with a little more
Yeah.
salt and a little more fattiness. But that's the same. And don't tell me you haven't had a fried bologna sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you haven't, we need to talk.
I have. It's been a long time.
Oh yeah. Oh.
The other thing is, keep in mind that the one time I remember having Spam was my mom cooked it, and as I've said before, I love my mom, and she's been gone 15 years, but she was not a cook.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Was
But
not a cook.
Anything like that, yeah. Even a quarter-inch, and just have your high end really, if it's 1 through 10, be on an 8, 8.5.
Yeah.
Right, and just have a little bit of butter in there or something, and just
Yeah.
smack that thing like
Sizzle
hot.
it. Yeah.
Just sear it both sides,
There you go.
and it's gonna give it enough complexity to it keeps the gag reflex back.
I think it was just the amount of salt that was involved with it that
it's
really kind of like. Ugh.
immediately unhealthy.
And like you can feel your internal organs just shriveling up. from all the
Yeah, just
salt.
hardening.
Yeah.
Gross. All the water leaving your bloodstream. So Archibald also said, in a few years' time, we shall be able to chat to our friends in an aeroplane and in the streets with the help of a pocket wireless set.
What?
So his idea was probably a little pocket radio that you could just come in, Mike. Where you at? But I mean, he was on to something because we
yeah.
have the cell phone and you could call somebody.
I've seen advertisements for them. There are these radios you can get. They're not shortwave or anything like that, but they work
Like 25 miles.
No, this according to this, it was across the country.
Oh, I don't
Oh, wow. I don't know.
It's got to run
I
some
like
kind of
it.
network.
I don't know.
Like a Nokia, like the old,
Yeah.
were those Nokia?
It was
No,
it was like a push to talk type of thing.
yeah, but what
If
were
you'd
those? We
have to
had
get-
those.
Yeah, I don't know, but I like it.
Yeah.
You're thinking of the Nextel.
Was it the Nextel phones that had the radio functionality?
yeah.
We had those when we were techs, and I remember we stopped at in downtown Seattle. It was like the Pay and Save or Walgreens or something. And Ed, my buddy Ed, went in to go find something, and I'm waiting for him. I'm looking through the window. Where's this guy at? And he happened to be walking down the feminine hygiene aisle. So of course he's got his radio on. So I click on it, it's like aisle 5, clean up on aisle 5. We spilled a bunch of whatever it was, tampons.
Summer tea.
And so everybody's looking around for aisle 5, and there's Ed, and he's like, "Fuck you, dude."
So good. Those walkie-talkies are neat, though. And he's right on. And this is way before satellites.
Yes.
Right? So the whole idea of satellite communication
Yeah.
wasn't even a fucking
And
thing.
I can't imagine that anybody had a handheld like two-way radio.
I think in the First World War, what was the
I think they
radio
had
technology?
radios, but I don't think they were like small
I wouldn't think
handheld. I think they were like
think
big
so.
boxy.
My
Yeah.
first smartphone was a Boost Mobile Nextel Android phone. So I had the push to talk, but I didn't have anybody I could call with it. So like, I
Yeah.
just used it like a normal cell phone.
Right. Huh. Some things that he was onto, but maybe not quite there. He touched on possible mobile technology, calling them automatic telephones, noting that the main benefit would be getting the number correct every time. So if you remember when you were a kid, you had the rotary phones,
Oh, sure.
and you might like, oh shit, not 0, I needed
You had
a
to-
9
you
or
had to
whatever, and you had to
stop.
start all over
You
again.
had to stop and wait a second and then start over.
Yeah, so I think he was in his mind. He was imagining some kind of phone where you could just punch in a person's name and it would
Yes.
dial that
Yep.
for you.
I mean, we did get
automatic.
those.
Yeah?
Was it like the
You had the
80s?
redial and you had the stored numbers
Yeah.
and all the digital stuff. So, yeah, I guess he's not wrong.
And in his time, there was all switchboard operators
Yes,
as well.
yeah.
So that's a human error.
Yeah.
And then they would switchboard to somebody else who would switchboard to somebody else.
Yeah, and you had to go
And
down
so-
the line.
Yeah.
I remember in the 80s getting one of those Casio watches that you could store phone numbers in.
Oh, and you could look up the phone number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a godsend because this is before we had cell phones.
Did it have a calculator and everything?
It was a
too?
calculator, but it had
Nice.
like because you could type in the numbers and it would show you the phone numbers. And then I got one that had a little speaker on it, and it would actually play the tones of the phone number. You could put your phone up to the
Right
watch,
to it, and it would dial
and
it
it would
for
dial
you.
it for you.
That's badass.
Yeah.
Everybody thought that those were nerdy, but I always wanted one. I never
Oh, I
got one.
absolutely got one. I got one. I was using it all the time.
Yeah.
And this is before I even heard of the term phone freak. And I was like, if I would have known about that, I would have absolutely been using that for evil. So, yeah.
Evil.
You know, the phone freak. It was called a red box, and it was a device that would play a certain
The
tone
tones, yeah.
into the phone, and you would get a free phone call out of it.
Man.
And that's why now, if you find a payphone, when you type in a number, it's the headphone or the earpiece is muted,
Right.
Or the microphone is muted.
So you can, and then you hear it kind of click in. Yeah. Crazy. Another thing that he came up with is that warring nations would possess such weapons as jets of water charged with electricity to kill all animal life.
Oh, jeez.
Wireless control of tanks, airplanes, ships, and submarines. So it's kind of like a
drone. Yeah.
right? Giant transport airplanes of incredible speed, so you could take equipment and stuff continent to continent, which we do have.
That's like the C-30, isn't it?
Whatever the big Hercules things, electrically controlled rockets that could destroy planes.
Yeah.
Radio eyes and ears to spy on enemies across thousands of miles.
Sure.
Our
no, we do
government
it all the
wasn't
time.
able to do that back then, I think, weren't they?
Not in 25.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you would have had to pick up radio transmissions and probably try to decipher the code and all that stuff. Now you can just log into whatever network they're on, and not log in, but hack into whatever
Well,
network.
essentially that's what a hack is. A lot of times when I had friends who were actual hackers back in the day, and they told me that a lot of times what you're doing is you're looking for a low end account to give you back access to the network, and then you can kind of go in through that way.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, and he said that he thought that propaganda that would strike terror in rival nations via wireless receivers. So I don't know if we would drop wireless receivers into whatever enemy we perceive, and then we'd just be like,
Chuck Norris is coming.
I see you.
I mean,
Chuck's on his way.
Yeah. Well, I know
Steven Seagal.
They blast propaganda back and forth.
Yeah.
I saw a video the other day that shows
Crazy.
this dude who's like my size trying to be like Mr. Kung Fu, and he's in there doing all these Kung Fu moves and it, not doing them well, mind you. And one of the comments was Chunk Norris.
Well, at least he's working.
I mean, it was satire. He wasn't legitimately trying to be like Mr. Kung Fu. He was doing all these high kicks. I'm giving air quotes for people who aren't watching, and he's basically he's just barely jumping off the ground and kicking his feet out. And it's really funny.
He did kind of was wrong on a couple of things here. That wireless technology will be also used as a handy alarm clock for the people of 2025, which it is. We've got alarm clocks, but he said, and I don't know if this was just a hopeful prediction, that most people would be set to 9:30 a.m. because we wouldn't have to get up
Yeah, it would be
and toil
much
at
less
our
toil.
labor, right? So that would have been nice if that had come true.
Did he predict the beef between Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion?
I don't
Wait,
think that he
those
did.
Oh,
are two different people?
Yeah, they got beef.
Okay.
He said that people would enjoy on a every morning basis a radio light treatment or massage. I don't know what a radio light treatment is. The massage I get. I don't know if it's some kind of like light
What do you call
waves
that?
or something.
There are light therapies.
It's like the vitamin D lamps.
No, maybe so.
I don't know.
But
Radio light.
we would be able to get that every morning as a healthcare return.
That's nice.
That's what this needs to be. This needs to be a vitamin D light.
That would be okay. He said that theater goers of the future settling down to a screen would show multiple movies showing simultaneously.
No.
And you would wear glasses to watch the movie that you wanted to watch.
Sure,
That's Netflix, but okay.
yeah, but
kinda.
like it's just layered over in different frequencies or whatever.
guess,
So you can
yeah.
just attune your glasses to whatever specific.
And you'd probably have to have headphones or something to hear it.
I don't know. He knew more about frequency stuff than I do, right? That was
Yeah.
kind of his thing.
I mean,
he did
that-
guidance systems, which is all radio wave stuff, right?
I mean, that's really not that different than like a streaming service, in my
yeah,
mind.
but they're not all playing on the same screen.
Well,
Yeah, he's talking about you go to the
no,
movie.
I get what you're saying, but
Yeah.
I think
I think it's-
in the grander scheme of it, it sounds like what his idea was: one place to watch multiple things, and each person has their whatever they want to watch, and it's there. I mean, the technology is not exact, but the end result is the same.
Yeah, and I don't know if he was even thinking that it would be like a home thing. Like you could watch movies at home. The theater was the place to
He
go.
is talking about a public theater. Yeah.
A public, so you would sit down at the
sure.
theater and then put
Yeah.
on your glasses and go, oh, click, click, click. I want to
But what
watch
if
movie
one
number
part's
3.
comedy, so somebody's laughing, and the other one's like, here's a,
Freaking
Sophie's
out 'cause
toys or
they're watching
something.
Chucky's on the
Somebody's
screen.
They're watching a
laughing
horror.
and
Oh
Sophie's-
my god!
That would be, yeah, you would need your own
Headphones, yeah.
like headphones that are, you know,
well, you know, one of the
Yeah,
things.
no,
that,
yeah, but they didn't have talkies in 1925.
I guess they didn't.
Yeah. So it's like those two separate. So you were just reading
That's true.
the dialogue anyway, right? Ain't
Yeah.
no talkies.
Ain't no
But they did
talkies.
have orchestras.
Yeah.
That played along. So I guess they're not doing that there.
And the one thing I discovered recently that I think is kind of neat is watching movies on your VR headset to give you the feeling that you're in a movie theater by yourself.
Huh.
I mean, imagine going to an actual movie theater to watch a movie and have nobody else there.
I've had it happen. Yeah, it's great.
It doesn't happen often, but it's when it does, it's like, oh, this is great. I'm going to have this whole movie to myself. I don't have to worry about anybody else talking or doing whatever to distract me from watching the movie.
Yeah. I'm assuming that he means electric cars on this, but he said motor cars will be all enclosed and by a meter device will pick up their power from government stations. So I don't know if that's wireless power or if it's like the trolley car.
I think it
Something
probably
like
sounds
that.
more like a trolley car.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
I don't know.
I don't know what period Tesla was talking about his ability to transfer through the ether, right?
It was like the 20s, wasn't it?
I don't know. It might
Well,
have
he
been.
didn't- yeah.
25's early.
25 is pretty early.
1925 is pretty fucking early, and which is also impressive because he didn't have satellites, he didn't have wireless. There's a bunch of things that didn't exist, and he's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
Not too bad.
Yeah.
He said an air service will land people from all parts of the world, not at some point 6 miles away from the city. So not like an airport, not like go to SeaTac, but would land straight onto the top of a hotel or some kind of roofed arcade street
I mean,
Rich people do that now.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was going
with
to
their helicopters.
Yeah, but there are
and
no
stuff.
helicopters in 25 either.
No, yeah. Yeah, so his assumption, maybe it was like a Jetson car. Or the,
Yeah.
I can't do the
I mean,
sound.
both sounds are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah. I actually,
Rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, something.
on Epic Games is giving away video games like every couple days, and yesterday or day before, I was able to get Hot Wheels Unleashed, and when I was racing a car in that game, I was racing up against the Jetsons car, which in itself was kind of funny. I don't know. That just reminded me of that.
Nice. Jump forward 25 years. He's been working on stuff and including the space stuff. In 1950, he said, quote, the second stage in the development of spaceships could be the launching of what have been called space platforms. So a space platform, the rocket or space station will travel around the Earth in 24 hours at the most, and the value of such stations might be very great. They might enable worldwide television broadcasts to be made.
Yeah.
They would
Satellite.
transmit data about cosmic rays or solar radiation, and they might have incalculable military value.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is 25 years
Yeah,
later,
when
but
Sputnik was early 60s.
yeah,
right?
yeah. So he's talking about like I think
Still
like
early.
ISIS or
I would think-
ISIS, which got ISIS on the brain.
Yeah, something like
Something
that.
like that.
Platform implies something large.
Yeah, that you can
Yeah, but
land
like an
rockets
all-in-one
on.
thing. Yeah, that's what I would
A
think. It's-
space station that has, like a Star Trek or Star Wars space station where
Yeah.
people can land there and come in and do their business and whatnot.
Yeah, but he wasn't wrong because he could transmit data. It could enable global communications, all that stuff.
and
So,
different.
and
A lot-
incalculable military value.
Yeah.
It's all based on radio waves, isn't it? I mean, all of our
I would think
communication.
so. Yeah.
You know,
Oh, mostly, yeah.
Yeah.
In that general spectrum, yeah.
I mean, going from here to
fiber
space.
optics light spectrum, right? But
Right.
yeah. But as far as like transmission from Earth to like ISS or any of
I don't
the-
know. I think in some cases they can use lasers to
Oh yeah.
if you're in a direct line, but oftentimes you're not in a direct line.
Can you imagine like if you got that line of sight wrong and you just blinded some random dude on the street?
I can't see.
Why me?
Some other 100-year-oldish predictions that I found while researching this Low guy. New York scientist Charles P. Steinmetz predicted that electric power would create a utopian society that would free humans from hard labor by 2023.
Ah,
We're
shucks.
2 years past, bro.
Because we chose to allow the very few
Yeah.
to inflict policies upon the very many.
Yeah.
Yeah, to keep
Yeah.
us in toil and squeeze because it makes them more.
Makes them more money.
It does.
He said that people will work not more than 4 hours a day.
Fuck, know.
The rest of
Love
the
it.
time, we'll be able to follow our, quote, natural bent.
Yes.
Which, I mean, that's all I want right now.
The
right?
beef with Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion. I just want to spend 20 hours a day.
Researching, discussing,
yeah.
meeting with them, trying to trying
Come
to
on,
be a
lady.
mediator.
Why concentrate on each other when you can concentrate on me?
Way back in the day, and I don't have a date on this, but I know it was early on because she was sort of a pioneer. But Alice Foote McDougall was the owner of a coffee company, and she believed back then that by now most businesses would be conducted by women and not men.
Jeez.
That it would transition over where women would be the predominant business conductors and not men.
Did she have a
Yeah, it was something about the temperament and all that stuff.
Sure.
And then what would men end up doing is they would, be sort of the homemakers and the caretakers of the kids in the house and stuff like that.
That's something.
But it didn't happen.
I maybe entrepreneur-wise it has. Just
Yeah, that's true.
But I think women still are in the workforce.
Not as a majority.
obviously, But
Not as a majority.
they're not in the workforce as a majority at all.
Oh, I don't know. I just
don't
mean like Fortune 500 companies
Oh, yeah, sure.
is still predominantly men. Right.
Oh, I'm sure by a long shot.
Yeah.
I would think the higher up you go, the shittier that percentage is.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
Yeah.
But I just like the idea of, because modern tech has given us the ability to have an electronic cottage and,
Right.
garage businesses and such. And I'd like to think that women have a easier entry point for that, But I don't know that.
Yeah. I don't know. And there was a weird thing about this, and I'll try to remember
Totally
exactly
bad.
what it was. But Sir Arthur Kent, the anthropologist from England, about 100 years ago, predicted that women would have shaved heads and men would have long hair. And it was something about how the base of us barbarians were the ones that had long hair back in the day. So it was always that. So men would short hair. So men would have the long locks, the pretty curls and stuff like that to show that they weren't barbarians. Where the women would have shaved heads because they stay at home mostly. So I don't know. It was a weird prediction.
Geez. Yes.
Sir Arthur Kent.
Yeah. I
What
wonder,
do you know about
He's cousins
anthropology?
with Clark.
distant cousins. William H. Anderson, he was the superintendent of the Anti-Saloon League of New York. Somewhere in the 20s predicted that in 100 years, he said that 100 years hence, the general public would have long accepted the fact that alcohol is habit-forming, irritant, narcotic poison.
Oh, geez.
The beverage use of it will be utterly unknown except among the abnormal, subnormal, vicious, and depraved,
Oh,
I mean,
man.
he's not wrong.
which
Well,
classes
there you
will
sir.
largely have been bred out of the race in America.
Well, geez. I mean,
I don't know. It's like
he
he's
was
an
wrong.
he's
I think he was looking through a certain lens.
yeah.
I mean, I bet 20s alcohol people were dying left and right. There was no federal regulation
Right.
for quality.
Bathroom
you could feed
gin.
people poison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And seeing people who are addicted to alcohol is heartbreaking.
Yeah, yeah.
And it really is. They're not.
I mean,
wrong.
I was kidding when I said he's not wrong.
Yeah.
But, as far as...
Man, Johnny Walker Black.
he,
I got 3 words for you. That shit's delicious.
he would have lost his mind if he had seen the microbrew thing happen.
Oh yeah, well that too. But that's it. I mean, even somebody from the 50s might not have seen that coming.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, somebody was saying the other day, it's like, I don't understand microbrews. Why do I want peach-flavored beer?
Because it's delicious.
and because people can make it, and you can make small batch beers now, and that are just way better than the big beers of yesteryear.
Right.
The Heidelbergs and just garbage.
the mass-produced garbage
Fucking
that's
garbage.
out there. Yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not...
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying I agree with them. I'm just saying that that's what I heard somebody say. It's like, some people want something that tastes better than Pabst Blue Ribbon. And the only reason why they got a blue ribbon is because they won something 100 years ago.
Well, and it didn't poison somebody.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Do you guys, Nostradamus, do you guys like put any faith in or have done any research or anything?
Not really.
I mean, I used to look into that stuff because I thought that kind of thing was interesting, but I don't know if I necessarily believe these predictions that have come. Because a lot of them are
There's some interesting
They're
things.
they're interesting to look into and read about, but his predictions are so vague that you can.
Yeah, that's what I was
I
gonna
don't
say.
know how have they been trampled on or stepped on in translation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because you can fit the mold to
Yeah,
fit
it's-
whatever you want.
Because they're quatrains, I guess, is what they're called, where they're I don't know. There's a pattern to them, and they're always done in different languages, and it's. To me, I look at them as same as I do like the Q drops, which were like random fucking things, letters and numbers, and just
It allows you to.
it allows you to interpret whatever you want out of it because
Right.
there's nothing.
Oh, yeah, that's
like
It's like a horoscope, right?
yeah,
Throw some.
it's
That's the
very
recipe.
vague.
Yeah.
Kind of like it leans
The
one
end
way
is
or
coming.
another.
Huh?
You always say
is-
the end is coming,
Well, it
but
is.
only a rookie says when.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, never give them a date.
Yeah, yeah.
2012.
I mean, yeah, 2012, or like the Rapture. The Rapture is coming in 6 months. Well, that was 8 months ago, dude.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, you can't give a date. I mean,
The Lord's going to come take me away
Yeah.
if you don't
Please.
send me
Yes.
1999.
remember that?
Yeah. Just
And since America's been rejecting religion, I think that also includes the televangelist style.
I would
stuff.
think so, yeah.
So therein is the rise of the Q style shit because
Yeah.
it fills that same gap. Easy answers for stuff that's A, out of our hands, and B, terribly fucking complicated, right?
Yeah.
So it's just this easy fucking. They did it. They're doing it. They did it. They're doing
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Just dog shit. It's like, ugh, God.
Well, Nostradamus
sorry about
predicted. No, you're good. For 2025, that he said the lands of Europe will be involved in quote cruel wars.
Bummer.
I mean, we kind of already are, right?
Yeah, and it's that's an easy one for Europe.
Yeah.
Right? Europe's been at war for
1,000
like,
years
yeah.
of nothing but
cruel wars as opposed to what kind of war?
dainty wars. I don't know.
I mean,
Cold War. The Cold War.
Cold
was
War,
pretty
I guess,
cool, too. They
yeah.
just stole
Yeah,
money
yeah.
from 2 generations of fucking citizens.
Right.
but wouldn't that be
And it's separated.
wouldn't that be cruel as well?
I agree.
I don't understand the idea of cruel
What about
war.
what about disco wars or something? That's a
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
dance.
Dance off.
Yeah. Those are not cruel wars.
You got served.
It's a dance off, man.
I don't know, but I think the European Union's really on shaky ground.
Yeah.
The rise of the autocrats is terribly
Well, then
dangerous.
this
for
comes
Europe.
into place
Oh,
because he
bummer.
says there will be a, quote, decrease in the influence of established Western countries as well as, quote, an emergence of new world powers.
Did he say that?
Apparently.
What language did he write in originally? Do we know?
I don't know.
Was
Is it Latin?
or Italian?
I mean, that right there sounds like those people who, New World Order, man, the one world government, man.
But it would shift to just
Yeah.
the burn it to the ground.
Yeah.
Fuel source, which is Russia, because they will steal every tree, every lump of coal, and every bit of oil from that land. They
Yeah.
do not give a fuck.
But we also see that, like,
Yeah.
Donald Trump continually saying that he's fine with letting NATO go to, break
Yeah.
up and do whatever.
Which would that would not look good for Europe.
No.
It really wouldn't. It's like, even though some of them got nukes, but,
Right.
you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Still, it would
I mean, there's such good powers in, like, the French and the British aren't going to, like, cease to be allies, right, at this point in time.
no, but if the autocrats continue to rise,
Yeah.
right, then and they really do one of the big boys,
Right.
just want to break it up to oligarchical fiefdoms,
Right.
right? So it's like
Yeah.
to where the nation state, which is the only, and nation states have their own fucking problems, and I say this every episode because it bears repeating. Democracy is the only time that you can amend that for the better.
Right.
The only time.
Absolute. Yeah. Yeah. You're not going to get it in any other structure.
Never has a dictatorship decided they're
No.
just going to be better for the little guys for fun. Ever. Never, ever, ever.
Just gonna go back to being an
Look
optometrist.
at the advancements that Western democracies with, warts and all, racism, awful, systemic, fucking blah, 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 blah. But A, we can see that it's moving ever slowly towards a better state, right? B, what have the other guys done?
Right. Nothing.
Ask the Uyghurs, right? Ask the dudes in Chechnya,
Right.
Right, how those dictatorships are working out for them,
Yeah.
right? It's not better.
It's not at all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, you soapbox? You gonna, don't fall
Yeah.
off.
Just
Don't
stay
slip.
with the cats. They don't.
He also predicted that England will face a resurging ancient plague, which he dubbed the, quote, great pestilence from the past.
It's that new movie starring the monkey. It's that guy. What's his name?
That's Robbie Williams.
Yes, there it is.
Yeah.
There's your
What is
play.
the new movie starring a
maybe
monkey?
Robbie Williams was a pop singer in like the late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, I know the name.
Yeah.
I can't
But
think of any of his songs.
he's doing a movie where he's like this this
Yes.
upright standing.
Like chimp or something.
He's like a chimpanzee or some other like monkey without a tail.
So
and
weird.
He's like I don't know. It's a weird fucking.
Is he CGI'd up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But he's actually a chimp or a.
I mean, he's got a human body.
Yeah.
At least he's upright
And a
like a
chimp
human,
face.
and he's got a chimp face. He's
It's
got
one,
chimp
of,
hands.
it's one of those
It's-
movies where you're like, how did this make it out of the cocaine-filled idea?
So they took the technology from the more recent Planet of the Apes and decided to make a pop movie about it. It sounds
Sure, I
like.
forgot about
So it's all like motion
But
capture.
that's the plague that he was warning us.
It's motion capture face recognition type shit where we're superimposing a monkey face over Robbie's head.
And is AI going to put, who played Gollum? The best motion
Andy
capture
Serkis.
guy?
Andy
Is that
Serkis.
going to put Circus out of work?
I don't know. That was,
I-
I mean, he's getting older.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it depends on who's going to be doing it next. You know.
The best.
Yeah.
Andy
I mean, him and Doug Jones.
and
man.
Doug Jones. Hallelujah.
Yeah, and he was
Yeah.
in Andor, right?
Yeah.
He was one of the prisoners.
He's the one that couldn't
Did a
swim.
great job.
Couldn't
Did a great
swim.
job.
Yeah, they break
And in,
out, and then he can't swim.
Yeah. Oh, what a guy. He did a great job.
She's
and that was a
supposed to be
well-written part.
coming like
Yeah.
early or maybe mid next year.
Yeah, I see some news about that.
Yeah.
Sometime in 2025. Right?
Yeah. Sometime they didn't specify. I just assumed it was like mid or early next year or this
And I think
year.
I'm gonna have to watch that whole series again.
Yeah, I enjoyed
I am
that. It was
too.
well done.
I had it on, but I actually wasn't really paying that close attention to it.
That was well done. And
I
there's
did-
Werner Herzog, right? He's in there?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
guy's
think he
cool.
is.
That
I'm
guy's
pretty sure he
legit.
is. No, actually, no. Werner Herzog was on the Mandalorian. He was the one looking. He was the one that wanted the baby.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But I did watch the most recent episode of Creature Commandos, and we do see.
Yeah, I haven't watched that yet. Is
Oh
that
man,
good?
it's good.
Okay.
Last night's episode, we see the shadow of the Bat. We don't actually see Batman in it, but he makes a brief appearance.
All right.
Yeah, that's got Frank Grillo.
Yeah, as Flag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's one of my
And
all-time
Sean Gunn is the Weasel,
Nice.
which is basically
gonna have to
a
watch.
humanoid wolf thing.
And that's on Max.
It's on Max. Yeah. It's really good. I mean, it's the same animation as all the other DC anime stuff.
Constantine and such.
Yeah.
So Nostradamus said, even though there's this great pestilence, looking at you, Robbie, from the past coming,
I was COVID.
he
but yeah.
also said that significant improvements in illness prevention and treatment are coming in 2025.
What?
And that
You mean like a vaccine or something?
you'll like this one, Todd. A mysterious leader will emerge from the depths of the sea
Namor.
to form a aquatic empire.
Fucking
Atlantis
Gmo.
Atlantis is coming back, is what you're saying.
I
Yeah.
don't know. That or like Johnny Depp in the new Pirates
It'll
of the
be
Caribbean movie.
number 5 is alive in a cyber pickup. coming out of the ocean.
The
never fallen in
Tesla
love.
truck. His Tesla truck, Mike.
Tesla truck.
Oh man, I don't know about that one, but these other ones are right on.
I
That's all we need, though, is some fucking underwater problem.
I mean,
Jesus.
I'm okay.
The drones over in New Jersey are coming out of the water, so that's probably not too
my
far
God.
from.
And there have been a lot of that's one of the main UFO things where I'm always like, well, if I was an alien species or just somebody trying not to be found by humans, you go to the ocean. Yeah,
Go to the
no
ocean.
shit.
Yeah,
Like, if we don't bother, typically.
And I'm all for Tesla truck, pickup truck bros trying to go underwater. Let's do it.
Let's. I want to
check it out.
I want to get the Titanic upgrade for my Tesla truck.
Yeah.
God.
And I am very much willing to bring my cameras and film your maiden voyage.
100%.
Now,
I'll throw $20
With
at
that upgrade, does it come with the Logitech
Yes,
controller,
buddy.
or do you have to provide your own joystick?
Oh, man.
Jeez.
Oh, man.
And just earlier today when I was printing these out, I ran into yet another predictor, and I had to include her because I think it's fascinatingly funny. Jemima Packington, who's somewhere in the Midwest.
Yeah, I
She
think I
is
heard about her.
An asparagus predictor or soothsayer. So what this gal does is she gets some fresh asparagus, picks off the tips of the asparagus, throws them up like ruins, and then as they land, she interprets
Oh,
what
like
the future
like
was.
the chicken bones,
bones,
Like the
and-
chicken bones
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So
Gotta work with what you got.
you got to work
I
with
mean,
what you got.
got to use broccoli or something, right?
And as far as she knows, she's the only asparagus breeder. There's
Oh,
probably
asparagus.
a little old lady in friggin'
I mean,
know,
she didn't have access to chicken
Afghanistan.
bones, clearly, so she had to use what she had, which was some leftover asparagus from last night's dinner.
most of these, I think, like we talked about being vague, right? Like any one of us could have come up with these on our top fives tonight in the bonus round. But she said more civil unrest through Europe and the Middle East. Europe will undergo especially turbulent times. Political resignations will be off the scale worldwide, meaning a whole bunch of politicians are just
the
going to be.
Tea
Oh,
Party get
I thought they were going to talk about Meghan Markle again.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, man.
She did say that Trump will have a major health scare, which is not surprising because he's not in good health.
83?
No, he's 78.
78.
I thought he was in his 80s by now.
Yeah.
He'll be 83 on the way out, though.
She said that European car makers will hit major problems all connected with EVs. So there's going to be some major thing.
Yeah.
What if China cuts off their batteries?
Could be. She said that stock market, this is an easy one, stock markets worldwide will be extra jittery. More bust than boom this year in stock markets. Said the royal family will have more trials and tribulations, but will overcome these.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Andrew is finally going to get arrested for, Jeffrey Epstein stuff. Who knows?
Oh, right, yeah. Prince Andrew.
And sadly, there will be more royal deaths. And I know King Charles these days is
Gotta
not
be.
in the best of health.
he's in his 80s, though,
I
isn't
would
he?
think real close.
yeah.
He's got to be mid-70s.
Yeah. He's had a lot of cancer and stuff lately.
Has he?
Oh, has he?
I
I,
think.
don't know.
I don't know.
I don't pay attention to the
I
royals.
don't either. I did think it was funny. Somebody, when Bailey was graduating high school, I think it was high school or college, one of the two, I think it was high school, somebody suggested, hey, what you should do is send a graduation invite to famous people. And usually they'll respond in kind. So we sent one to Obama, who sent a nice little formatted letter,
Nice.
right?
Yeah.
And a few other people, but we sent one to Queen Elizabeth. And her lady in waiting sent something back, and he's got it. It was like, congratulations on your milestone. The Queen does not personally respond to stuff. As her lady in waiting, it falls to me.
Here's a nude.
Best of luck. Here's a what?
A nude.
Send a dick pic.
So he did get something, but
Good.
but yeah. So I don't know. So more trials and tribulations. The culture of so-called influencers on social media will be mired in even more scandal. And then mixed global reactions to climate change. A catastrophic event will occur. It will involve major loss of life.
Bummer.
Which, I mean, we've already seen, hurricane seasons get
Yeah.
worse and worse.
Inspired.
And then she said, lastly, her number 10 prediction was show business personalities will again make the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Arrests will shock the public.
Yeah, no.
I
it's-
wonder about if there's and I don't know exactly what was happening at the P. Diddy parties or whatever, the Sean
Yeah.
Combs parties.
The lube parties.
Yeah, but just the same kind of thing.
Underage
And
people,
if,
I think.
Trump really was going to pursue the Epstein, people or whatever. Because in my mind, I imagine there was illegal activities, not just immoral activities, right? But
Yeah.
but if that's not true, then
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's got to
But
come
there
out
could
in
be
court, but
something
he's in
else.
jail. He's still in jail.
I honestly,
Combs,
So they must
yeah,
have
yeah.
some good evidence.
I haven't listened to anything of his since the 90s, so I don't really know what he's been up to. So,
I just remember on all the Biggie records, he's just in the background going, "Oh yeah."
yeah, yeah, baby, yeah.
Oh my God! Kind of switching out of 2025 and looking at kind of predictions. I thought this was kind of fun. Todd and I think we talked about this a little bit, but like Back to the Future 2 takes place in 2015.
Correct.
So all the stuff that was in Back to the hologram of
The
Jaws,
Jaws
32 or
32, yeah. I mean, we did get the Meg and the Meg 2, which
yeah.
we got Jason Statham kicking the Meg in the nose with his
Sharknado.
and Sharknado's
Sharknado.
too. Yeah.
The sharks are still a thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
Oh,
been
that's
a
right,
lot. There was
Sharknado.
like,
I forgot about Sharknado.
there was was it Blake Lively was in a movie where she was like trapped on a little rock jetty and there was sharks in the water. I mean, there's shark movies all the time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There was a Netflix movie that takes place in Paris with sharks in the
Going
river.
up the river, yeah.
Up the River Rhine or something, right?
good.
I didn't watch the movie. Is it a
No,
good
me
movie?
neither.
I haven't. I didn't even know it existed, to be honest.
So, I mean, I don't know. They came not super close, I don't think. Back to the Future 2. He had the hoverboard.
Oh, that,
I mean,
yeah.
we have things called hoverboards, but they're not anything like what
But they
were.
don't float. They're not magnetized. To
Although
float.
We have the single wheel thing.
somebody did build a hoverboard inspired by that movie.
Okay.
But it requires a magnetic force.
A platform, yeah.
A platform. So kind of like the bumper cars that we had.
Yeah.
That are on electric on electric floor.
Mm-hmm.
Or a maglev train, right?
And so it was basically like that. And then there was another one that neither one of them are mass produced.
Yeah.
So, but somebody built one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mike, you'll like this. Blade Runner,
Yeah.
the original one,
Yeah.
took place in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that. I always think it's, but what was the second one? It was like 2044,
2049,
49.
I think,
Yeah.
And it was okay. I mean, I to be honest,
It was thoroughly unnecessary.
I watched the original one. I think the director's cut, and I'm like, okay, this is not nearly as impressive as I was expecting it to be, but it was not a terrible movie.
And what was they had the hover cars, the cars that could
and
fly.
clone.
That
clones,
That's
yes.
right. That
The
car.
main thing,
And
right?
off-world colonies.
Yeah.
The Spinner is what the car is called, and it's actually in the lobby at the Mopop in Seattle.
Well,
When
yeah,
was
it's a
the
cool
book
car.
written?
Do Androids Dream? It's just a short story.
Right.
I don't know, I guess 70s. Yes.
Oh, it was. I was thinking maybe 50s or 60s.
No, he's not that old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I do know that the Millennium Falcon does make an appearance in the original movie.
I think I remember hearing about that. Or seeing it.
Basically, they took the model of the Millennium Falcon and made it a building in New York.
And set it on its.
Set it on its
Yeah.
ass. So it's
Yeah.
the tip of it is the front of the ship.
That's right.
It's one of the buildings in the background.
Okay, I do remember seeing you would blink and you miss it.
Yeah, it was one of those things. Did you know? And I'm like, now I have to rewatch that movie because I'm a Star Wars.
I have to rewatch it because I haven't seen it. in
What,
probably,
the first Blade Runner?
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's
12 or
never-
15 years.
No, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
best achievements.
It's definitely one of those movies that makes you. It made me like see Sean Young in a whole different light because all the other characters she's played has been a little unhinged. So
Wasn't she the one that dressed up like Catwoman?
she tried to get Tim Burton to
Cast her.
as Catwoman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she went on like Leno or
She went on a bunch of different talk shows.
with all decked
That might
out.
work for Burton, right? I bet he likes kitschy,
He didn't
you know.
pick her though.
Yeah, she seemed very unhinged when she did all that. So I was like, yeah, this is why you're not getting the job, man.
Oh yeah, no, he went. Michelle Pfeiffer. Who
Michelle
was pretty
Pfeiffer.
hot at the time.
Michelle Pfeiffer still
Totally
is hot.
agree,
I don't
yeah.
No, I mean like.
No, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, at the time, yeah, she was
pretty popular.
yeah, really popular, yeah.
You remember her in Scarface?
I've never seen Scarface.
Oh, you never seen Scarface? I can't watch it just because there's certain scenes that just like the chainsaw and the head and stuff.
I
but
never
she
saw it.
is friggin' just dynamite gorgeous
sure.
in that movie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Demolition Man.
Oh, yeah.
Sylvester
And Wesley.
and Wesley Snipes,
Yeah.
right? That came out and it supposedly takes place in 2032.
Okay.
And the ones I remember was the seashell,
The three shells.
the three shells.
Yeah.
And they nobody had like physical contact sex. It was all like
VR headset.
mind VR headsets or
yeah.
whatever, like pleasure centers and stuff.
I did see a Stallone. I follow Stallone on Instagram, and he did a video a couple years back, or maybe it was a year ago. Either way, it was in recent years. And he goes, "Everyone keeps asking me about the shells, and they want to know how you use them." He goes, "Like this." He picks up a thing, put it in your hand like this.
Like it's a scoop.
Like
or-
it's
turd scooper.
It's like a turd wit squeegee, yeah. And I'm like, ew, no.
But we're only 7 years away from the three
I
shells.
would much
Honest, right.
I would much rather have a bidet,
Like a bidet.
and even the bidet seems a little weird for me. So just like no, I'm
Well,
never.
if it's that or shells, trust me.
I mean,
It's a better choice.
I have hopped in the shower when we didn't have toilet paper at the house. So
And as the prophet Red Fox once stated, sometimes you gotta wash your ass.
That's good advice.
Good advice.
Good advice.
did you know that in that movie here in the States it was Taco Bell, but over in Europe it was Pizza Hut.
That
The restaurant,
Sponsored it.
the restaurant that was the big restaurant that won the restaurant wars.
nice.
So
that's fun.
at some point I downloaded a copy of the movie, and apparently I had the UK version because I was like, I don't remember Pizza Hut being in this movie.
Yeah, you know what we should do, guys? Here's our $1 million chance. Taco Bell branded toilet paper with some kind of like moisturizer. You're going to be busy for
It's gonna take a while.
I mean, you use like the Charmin branded toilet paper and just rebrand it with Taco Bell, because Taco Bell gives you the runs to the border.
What was the South Park, the Chipotle away? It was the spray into your underwear to take the stain.
Oh shit, I forgot about that. Oh man.
Oh, shit is right, Todd.
Or the episode where he was shoving food up his ass and he was pooping out of his mouth. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's Stan, right?
man.
That was Cartman that did that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jesus.
He's like shoving food up his butt. Yeah.
And then the original Total Recall, I don't know about the second one, takes place in 2084. And what I remember from that is
Get your ass to Mars.
the lucid dream thing where you go in and they implant the memories
Yeah.
into your brain to make you feel like you were on vacation or you had an affair with a sexy lady or whatever. And they terraform Mars, or they were terraforming Mars. Are we going to be there in 60 years?
I mean, we're
No,
supposed
terraforming Mars?
we're supposed to
I
be
don't
on
think
Mars
so.
by like 2030, something like that.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't know.
I mean, it's possible.
that was the plan anyway.
Wanted to, but I think
We're not putting any money into the
Not like that.
We the Renton Comic Con, or it
That's
became
what that big ship's for.
it became King Con Northwest. One of the returning guests at that Comic Con every year was a guy who came from here but now works at NASA, He's a scientist and whatnot. And he was talking at one of the cons I went to. He was doing a panel about us going to Mars and then going back to the moon. And a couple of years later, he was talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it the Chinese or the Japanese that just landed on the backside of the moon? Not
was the
the
Chinese.
human, but
Launched a probe.
a
down
probe
there.
and-
I feel like it was the Chinese.
yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they took samples. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the big SpaceX ship is designed to do the moon and or Mars, right? So when it just had its first successful launch, mostly successful. I don't know. I just don't think
I don't think we're going to get
if
there.
we're going to terraform
that
the
amount
planet
of
to make it
time,
habitable for
It's not
humankind.
going to be in our lifetime.
Well, how about we just kind of be good to Earth, the one that's been terraforming to make it good for life for the last 4 billion years.
Yeah.
God.
Yep.
Boys, always find this fascinating because we hear about it in the news quite a bit, but people go back through old Simpsons episodes and they say Simpsons predicted tons of different stuff. I guess there's been like 55 different instances on The Simpsons where people go, oh, look, they predicted this event.
They predicted Disney purchasing Fox. They predicted Trump.
Everything
president.
from Trump to
Coming down the escalator.
Yeah.
the escalator to the Hawktua girl.
No.
There was a episode where Bart meets a girl on the street. He hurts himself. I don't remember the whole episode because I didn't watch it, but apparently this girl goes and spits on his hand.
Sure.
Like he scraped it like skateboarding or something, and she just right onto his hand, and suppoldly that predicts the.
Yeah, that's no.
It's one of those things that you can try to fit.
Yeah, that's shoehorning something in. That's no.
Yeah.
Because she had a specific meaning.
She did.
Yeah, the hot
She didn't Hawktua on his, his little Bart yellow whatever.
Dude.
No, that would have been something
just
entirely different.
I mean, there's probably
somewhere.
The Rule 34 of the internet, if it exists on the internet, there is a porn version, no exception.
Exactly.
And I have seen Simpsons porn, and it is not something I can unsee. It's not something I didn't want to see it, but it was one of those things that I didn't believe it was real, and then I looked it up, and there it was, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to see this.
Man. So some other TV shows and movies that actual predicted stuff that came real, video calling, Skype and Zoom.
Yep.
2001 A Space Odyssey in the 60s, Star Trek in the 60s, they did the video call.
Yep.
So all that stuff is really commonplace now with Skype, FaceTime, Zoom, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Smartphones, people feel like Star Trek, the original series, predicted that because they had their little handheld communicators.
And the two-way wrist TV, whatever. Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy.
Yeah, that
But
comes in.
the first flip phone was called a StarTAC.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
TAK.
Yeah, it makes sense. So all the modern smartphones, like the iPhone, mirror many of the functions of these devices. So you got the tricorder, you've got the phone, and all that stuff. These little handhelds.
I knew someone who had the Motorola StarTAC, and it was an expensive phone. It was like $2,000 or $3,000 for that thing back then.
Yeah.
Just to buy it.
Touchscreen interfaces predicted by Star Trek The Next Generation in the 80s.
The LCARS.
Where everything they can touch and you slide and all that stuff. I do remember somebody talking about like how TV predicts a lot of that kind of stuff, but then they also fail on small details. Like, so if you watch a Voyager, Star Trek Voyager, they've got a flat screen and they're working off the flat screen, but within 2 years, those flat screens that they used for the show were way outdated because they got much thinner. Right.
Yeah.
So, but then I've also seen like some of the Star Treks where they have like a rollout flat thing that you can roll into.
I mean, Star Trek: The Next Generation. Star Trek: The Next Generation introduced us to like iPads too.
Yeah.
I mean, they were called pads.
Right.
They're PADD computers.
Right.
And
I think 2001 Space Odyssey had little handheld tablets too.
But then, like, even before Apple made the iPad, Windows had tablet computers. They weren't great.
Yeah.
It
And
basically
they still had a keyboard.
it was a monitor about yay big. It's 10, 12 inches, and it ran on a custom version of Windows, and it had a touch screen, but you had to use a stylus because otherwise it wouldn't.
Yeah, 'cause you couldn't get
Your big ass fat fingers wouldn't actually be able to click on nothing because it was the sensitivity on the touchscreen was too weird.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff. Total Recall in 1990 and Knight Rider in the 80s
84.
predicted autonomous cars.
Yeah.
Right? Companies like Tesla and Waymo are making autonomous cars a reality right now. We don't really have any. I think they have some of
The
the.
Bay, for sure.
I mean,
They have the what?
in the Bay Area.
Stephen King.
Oh, is it
Yeah.
the.
Yeah, they've got
Okay.
a-
Stephen King made the first automatic car. If you really think about it.
Yeah.
Christine.
It came with some major issues,
theory.
but
I mean-
self-repairing as well.
I mean, it had lots of bugs in it, but
Yeah.
that's what upgrades or that's where DLCs are for to fix that. I mean, that's what Tesla does, right?
Yeah. VR predicted by The Lawnmower Man, which was an awful movie back in '92.
Oh, I love that movie. You're talking
That's
about?
also a
And
Stephen King story.
Stephen
right?
King story.
Yeah.
And then Star Trek The Next Generation had the holodeck, and then every
sure enough.
Star
Yeah.
Trek iteration from there had the holodeck.
And the
Yeah.
Heisenberg compensators, which I've always liked, like for the Heisenberg uncertainty principle.
I don't know.
They have some kind of algorithm that fixes that. I love it.
Oh, man. So, yeah, VR headsets like the Oculus
Yeah.
and
I mean,
applications.
yeah. In the early, was it mid '90s that came out?
Which one?
The Lawnmower Man.
92.
92. So yeah.
So it wasn't bad. I mean, I just remember the ex-wife was really, because she was a huge Stephen King fan.
Yeah.
So she, I got to watch this movie, and I'm just like, what the fuck is?
It's really weird, but I enjoyed it.
Okay.
It was also my
remember the big face coming out.
yeah. I remember when GameWorks opened in Seattle, they had a VR game there, and that was the first time I'd seen VR in person before.
Yeah.
And the VR headset was so big that it had to be on a gimbal.
Oh, so you had to like be inside.
So you had to be in this thing, and it would move with you, but it was like it had this massive thing that held these monitors in front of your face. So you're basically controlling the thing with the handles on the gimbal that controlled the headset, and way heavier than what it currently is for VR headsets. So yeah. And the graphics were very like
Funky and like a
it
money
was-
for nothing in your chicks.
yeah, it was just like it was very
That's right, yeah.
rudimentary, like geometric shapes and stuff. It was like vector graphics is what it was.
Not
Yeah,
even chonkier.
yeah.
Yeah. You guys talked about this just a little bit ago, but like Dick Tracy, the wearable tech, the eyeglasses, the Apple Watch.
Smartwatch. This is not an Apple, by the way. This is a $25 cheapo from China that I got through Amazon.
Fitbits, all that good
yeah,
stuff.
I had one of those.
Man.
This is actually better than my Fitbit.
And then reality TV. You remember the Truman Show with Jim Carrey? Was just, I mean, that's
What year was it?
1998.
Crazy.
I think the Real World came out before that, though.
It did. Yeah.
So the Real World was the beginning of reality TV. That was the first. That was the first reality television show. But I think the Truman Show kind of like expanded on what that could be.
Yeah.
Is that Stephen King? Who wrote Truman Show?
Oh, I don't think it was Stephen King.
No, I don't think
I don't
so.
know who it was. But yeah, shows like Big Brother, Keeping Up with the Kardashians thrive on documenting real
Yeah.
or
Right.
semi-real lives.
I got into it wasn't quite a heated debate, but the person did not believe me. They said that Big Brother was the original. I was like, no, Big Brother came out a couple years after The Real World. The Real World was on MTV in
and
like
it was
1990.
groundbreaking, you know?
Yeah, I think it was at the
The
time.
whole idea
What
of,
about
like-
Survivor. Is that
That was like a decade after.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
It was like early 2000s.
Because Real World, would you say 91?
Like 1991.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that was Real World New York, and that was. I remember watching every episode because it was like, this is new, this is cool, oh my god! And then after season 4, I'm like, God, this is same fucking thing, different city.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And just
Yeah. Just thinking back on Lawnmower Man and the graphics and stuff. If you guys want to
graphics.
laugh, I just had a movie on in the background. I think I saw it when it came out. The Sound of Thunder. It's got Edward Burns in it.
I have that movie.
It's got
I don't
Ben
remember.
Kingsley.
Yeah.
And he's funny in it. Because he's trying to be serious, but he's like this bad
Sound of
corporate
Thunder,
guy.
that's a time travel movie.
Yeah,
right?
they go back in time, and somebody creates something that
They literally step on a butterfly.
on a butterfly. I wasn't going to give it away, but I guess it's been out for 10, 15 years, 20 years.
That's been out longer than that. It came out in like the
early 2000s, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that would be 20 years ago.
25 years ago, man.
But the graphics in there are just laughable. Watch it again. It's on Amazon for free, but on Prime. Boys, Blade Runner, A Space Odyssey, 2001, artificial intelligence. They predicted that, and we totally are into it now. ChatGPT, Alexa, all that
Just
stuff.
the very beginnings of it.
Yes.
I recently rewatched in the last year, AI, and it was such a sad fucking movie. Oh
That
my
is a sad
God.
It's really well done, though.
And that kid, dude, that came out, what, 99? So it's long since, spoiler alert, whatever. But he ends up sitting at the bottom of the ocean, staring at a statue of the fairy from, I think, The Wizard of Oz or whatever, or the Good Witch or whatever. And he's like talking to her until like the lights go out, and then he eventually like stops functioning because his batteries go dead too. So it's just a fucking sad fucking movie, and I
Yeah, it started as a Kubrick, but then it ended up as a Spielberg, right?
oh, is that what it was? I just remember
Past part.
the kid from The Sixth Sense is in it
Does
is
a
the
great
AI,
job. And Jude Law, too.
and Jude Law is an AI as
Sex
well.
bot,
Yeah.
A gigolo sex spot, yeah.
Law, man.
And he's now in
Yeah,
the
young Jude Law.
he's now in the Wrecking Crew with our Skeleton Crew.
And he's
Yeah.
been playing heels recently. Nice.
He does a good job of
Oh, yeah, I
being a
think
bad guy.
Great,
Yeah,
right?
not
That's
bad.
fine.
Yeah.
He's a real actor.
He was also in that movie Existence, which was a really fucking
That
weird
was a
movie.
weird ass movie.
That's
Oh, my God.
Cronenberg, dude.
Was that
But I'll
Cronenberg?
watch anything with what's her face, the girl that was the lady that was in that.
I don't remember her name, but
Yeah,
yeah.
hey,
Damn,
it's
Karate Kid.
Elizabeth
Elizabeth
Shue.
Shue. I'll watch anything with
nice.
her.
And that was the reason why I wanted to see it, because Elizabeth Shue was in it, and somebody said it was just like the Matrix. And I was like, okay, I love the Matrix. That was a great
Elizabeth
movie.
Shue and The Matrix. I'm in.
Fuck yeah! And I watched it, I was like, this is nothing like the Matrix. Oh
What
my
the
God,
hell?
this is like fucking with my head. So, I mean, the Matrix made me kind of question reality, but
Yeah.
this really fucked with my head. I'm like, I don't like
need
this
therapy.
movie.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Thanks, Cronenberg.
I mean, it was like what was that movie where they're like you had to spin the top to see if you're in reality or not?
With DiCaprio.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be his callback. Yeah.
And it was like that, but like if it
On
was
the tip of my
if
tongue.
that
movie, yeah.
Inception.
Inception, if Inception was a horror film, that's what Existence was.
Yeah.
100%.
It was just
Nuts.
a mind fuck of a movie.
And that kind of was too, because he got lost,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It was okay. That's a Chris Nolan movie. My kid loves that movie. And I'm just not that big of a Chris Nolan.
I'm not either,
But
man.
yeah, but that's the idea behind Blade Runner as well, right? It's like, and we could have a whole episode on that, because what is existence?
Right.
Is it subjective or objective?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? You can't really answer
Yeah, you
that
can't.
because we're just a perception machine.
There was
Right.
So it's like,
There was a documentary / fictional movie called What the Bleep Do We Know?
Oh, yeah.
Came out in '99, I think.
oh yeah, white women love that movie.
I watched it. I watched that movie because somebody said like, this is a great movie. You should totally watch
Yeah.
it. And I watched it. I was like, okay. I mean, it talks about quantum physics in a way. I was like, I don't think there's quantum physics. But okay. I mean, it was an interesting concept. It was basically saying that things are only real because you think they're real. And I'm like, what? And
That's
like,
a certain perspective, but like existence doesn't exist until it's observed,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
right?
like-
And that's
Chicken or the egg, right?
That's the trouble with it.
they talked about how the natives, when they first experienced, the Spanish galleons and the ships,
Yeah.
they didn't know that the ships existed, so they didn't know to
So they didn't see it.
They didn't perceive them until they were
Yeah.
like right there in front of their face.
No, and that's humans do that all the time. That's a definite human
Yeah.
trait, right?
Yeah.
And maybe other mammals as well, dude.
Yeah.
Because they don't see it until they see it, right? Even though it's right fucking there. And that happens in like, when you get scared and shit, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
something is there, but you didn't perceive it until you did.
Right.
Or a clue for a detective. You don't see it until you see it.
Yeah.
But then the physics part of it is the slit experiment, right? And so look that up, and then you'll be able to find a nice.
You'll have to remind me later, 'cause later I'm not going to remember this.
And that also, we were just joking about the Heisenberg compensators, but the Heisenberg uncertainty principle is you can either know the motion, the spin of a particle, or you can know its location. You can't know both, right? And that's because once you observe it, it changes one or
Right.
both of those
Right.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but the dual slit experiment is fucking weird, dude.
It's almost like
Schrodinger's cat.
cat. Yeah.
Ah, poor kitty.
Poor kitty.
Have you ever seen photos of Schrodinger?
No.
Because he's from the 20s.
I
like
may have.
the Niles Bohr years and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, like early. And when the physicists were celebrated, right?
Yeah.
That type, and they really were. Because it is still very groundbreaking thought exercises, and getting the math to make these thought exercises repeatable.
Right.
Right. But he was a hipster. Oh no,
Was
he's
he?
wearing like furs and shit, like got those crazy 1920s
Pimpin'.
pants on and shit. No,
Nice.
he was that boy was.
Was he got a pipe?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. No, those guys, yeah, including Einstein, but yeah, Bohm and Boers and
Yeah.
I mean, they're interesting cats. They really
Archibald.
were.
Dare I say Archibald?
Yeah, not same.
Probably.
Because back then
Yeah.
we still celebrated brains,
Yeah.
Yeah.
reason, and
Yeah.
shit.
Jeez. Yeah. And
But I
speaking
do
of-
like fake titties.
Going back
So I'm
to-
glad that we celebrate those today.
January 2nd, 2025. Going back to Archibald, just kind of personal life. He was a bit of a player. He was married a few times and got busted for having an affair with not one, but two women while he was married and had to get a divorce and all kinds of stuff. But, I mean, I think he was a little bit of celebrity, right? Like you're saying, the celebrated physicist and
Intellectuals
scientist and all
at the time.
intellectuals
Like,
at the time.
oh, you see, in this person, their skull is shaped this way, so I'm better than them.
Oh man, boys, we're living kind of in a surveillance society, right? Because we're always on camera, right?
Yeah.
But that's they say predicted by the film 1984 film adaptation, which is just horrible.
I watched
The
it.
movie's
It was-
good, but
It's just soul
1984
crushing.
is just
it's soul
crushing.
crushing. Oh yeah, I used to
Crushing.
read that every year.
Oh my god!
And I just kind of had to back off.
Yeah.
We did this. I did a novels class in community college. Great class. Loved to be in a room full of like-minded individuals. 20 of us discussing a novel, right, as we're reading it. And there's this one girl in class, very cute, very nice young lady. But I remember her trying to find some romantic ending to 1984, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, I mean, they don't really say, but maybe they were able to escape and find each other." And
no.
and I said,
Way worse than that.
I said, I hate to tell you, but
yeah. The last sentence.
he loved
Yeah.
Big Brother.
Oh, it's so bad.
And it's just like
so
there's,
bad.
there's no going back,
No.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, and the professor was like,
Yeah.
right? Explains it all right there.
And that's
Oh my
yeah.
God.
I
And
remember.
that's the point.
I remember about 4 or 5 years ago, someone saying that it used to be people were worried about Big Brother, and now they have Big Brother in every house. And
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
referring to Alexa.
Well, because that was the government using it to oppress terribly, but now we voluntarily. Oh yeah, I mean this is tracking us all the time and
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, but that's just for commerce, so it's not as bad.
Well, it's funny is it was my brother who was really into didn't want to have an online presence, and now he's all over Facebook, and I'm sure he's reposting all the stupid memes. But he was like, he didn't want to do anything to do with 4G or 5G. Because 5G was this evil thing. And I was like, you do realize that 5G literally means fifth generation wireless internet.
Right.
And that's all it is a faster version of the current.
Stuff you've already been using.
Yeah,
It
and
is a different set of wavelengths.
I mean,
I think it utilizes the wavelengths better, more efficiently.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it's a different frequency.
I don't think it's a different
thought it
frequency.
was.
It might be a different
It may be.
frequency, but it's not going to cause some massive evil thing.
It made my dick way bigger.
It might make hacking easier because it's faster internet, but that's really it. And he was just like, I'm never getting a 5G phone. I was like, dude, do you have a smartphone now? He's like, well, yeah. I was like, well, they're already listening to everything you say.
Yeah.
So the only way to not get, have the targeted ads on any of your devices is to not use them.
Right.
Sure, and a VPN. You can put a VPN on your phone.
He's not going to pay.
for your
He's not going to
browsing,
pay,
and,
whatever it is to have a VPN on
Put
it.
your
And he's
shit on airplane mode until you need it.
Yeah.
You can have your phone on airplane mode all the time.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
And I assume that means that really
Save the
does.
battery too.
It saves the battery and it turns radio. What the airplane mode does is it turns off all of the radios on your phone, all of them, every single one of them. So you can't receive or send calls.
Yeah.
You can't connect to Wi-Fi unless you turn on Wi-Fi. I mean, you can have airplane mode on, then you can turn Wi-Fi back on, and it will work. But it turns off all the radios on your phone, so you're not
And then
transmitting or
just
sending.
turn it back off and do
use
your
it when you wanna
search
use
or whatever
it.
you want to
Yeah.
use it. Or
And
make a call.
if you can put a VPN on your phone's browser, I'm pretty sure, right?
I mean, you can get
Or get a VPN and then browse.
I mean, there are browsers you can get for your phone that have like built-in VPN capabilities, but it's just as easy just to get a VPN app on your phone that runs in the background and protects everything on your phone.
Yeah. Right?
Not just your browser.
If somebody's going to ask you for a brand recommendation or an app recommendation, you have one?
I've been using Malwarebytes, and I don't hate it. So I mean, I think I paid for a whole year. It was like $60, $70.
And that's BYTES.
Yeah.
I call it
Malwarebytes. BYTES.
Bitis. So 1984, the film adaptations, Enemy of the State. You remember that one with Will Smith?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All that
They're
stuff.
like, beep, boop, beep, boop, 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 boop.
So we're totally in an increased surveillance via cameras, online tracking, government monitoring,
Ring,
all this stuff. Ring
doorbell.
doorbells. It's like you're never off camera.
Yeah.
Right.
The only way to avoid that is not to live in the city.
Yeah.
Because we don't have absolute right to privacy in public space.
No.
What's the word I'm looking for? The pronounced right to privacy.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a word for it.
I don't know. All I know is that, your cell phone's tracking you, and it's always listening because you're talking about. If you talk about anything, next thing you know, you're browsing your social media or checking your email, and you get a notification for whatever it was you were talking about an hour ago.
Yeah, and then they all grab cookies out of your phone anyway, so they can see what you're into anyway.
Yeah.
Mine's all Van Halen and titties.
I've been
Not
Asian
necessarily in that order.
I notice whenever I get onto either on Instagram or TikTok, I see a lot of ADHD videos and like those inspirational videos. Hey, things aren't as bad as they seem. Blah blah blah. It's like,
that's nice.
I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah.
And in between those videos, I'm getting advertisements for Better Health and other like therapy type apps, and I'm like, go away, stop it.
I'll find you when I need you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'll reach out. Climate change awareness predicted by Soylent Green, 1973.
Right.
Movies like The Day After Tomorrow, which came out
South
in
Park, Man, Bear, Pig.
2004. What was that? That was probably 90.
98, I think.
was it?
Yeah.
98, Man, Bear, Pig.
Okay, it was South Park making fun of Al Gore because Al Gore was talking about climate change, and they were like, I'm being totally serial, guys. There's a Man, Bear, Pig.
Super cereal.
Super serial. But in the reality, that global warming and its effects are a major global issue
And
today.
stop-
Yes.
and stop-
these were 20 years ago.
even
The
more.
Day After Tomorrow was 21 years ago.
And South Park did do an episode last year kind of saying Al Gore was right, we're sorry. And they actually said, Al Gore, we are sorry in the episode.
Yeah.
And we've been just lied to by because a few episodes ago
Totally.
didn't we talk about like how much coal has been burned per year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's a mind-boggling
astonishing.
number.
Yeah.
It's like, and where do you think that all goes?
Yes.
man?
Yes.
Right? It's like, Jeez, and they just kept saying it, and then the computer models got more and more accurate, right?
Yeah.
Because we have more and more computing power, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's like,
It's like I remember in the early 2000s, the SETI program created a screensaver you can install on your computer.
I remember, I was just thinking about that today.
And all this did was it gave you stats on sightings and locations.
Well,
of
I think
these
they were
and-
also having home computers run a bunch of the data.
Yeah, and as the screensaver was running, showing you this stats, it was processing all the data that they were collecting,
Yeah.
and they were using the internet and home computers to help process all that information.
What year was that?
Like 2000, 2001.
My ex.
I remember getting that and thinking, that's fucking cool. And then at some point it stopped being a thing, and I stopped having it on my computer.
No, me too. But I imagine that's now what we're doing for the for-profit AI guys.
That's what we're doing for...
Right? They're farming us and every fucking thing we do so they can turn around and put us out of business.
Yeah.
Right? What if they just deep-faked us, guys?
Do it.
We could actually do that. We could train AI to know our voices, and then we could just type out what we want to say and then create a video, and we had nothing to do with it.
And that's my argument.
I'm cool with doing that too, by the way.
You know, because BitDance can get their property stolen by the Chinese government at any time.
Yeah.
We could even go as far as like training it with Mike's voice and having one of us do the dialogue and just have it sound like Mike.
That's worse.
That was my nickname in high school, Mike says.
Then Mike says, no
doy.
No doy.
But
and I do say that.
No,
but I mean, the deep fake thing is coming. And what's to say that...
It's already here, dude.
And that's why I think, like, the ByteDance, because what's the video one? CapCut?
CapCut is also owned by...
just like JibJab and all that. It's like, because then they have your likenesses, how your face moves, and they can add those nuances that we were talking about, right? More and more all the time. The more data they have on how my face, I'm sorry, this is my face, how it functions, the more deeply and convincing they can make lies about me.
Like that AI video that I made out of the photo of us getting our photo with Krampus.
Running.
It's you going, oh shit, and running out the room.
And that was super fast, right? With very minimal input, right? So it's like
all I did was post a video and told it to do this AI action, and it created it in like maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I heard people saying this the other day, like I don't use TikTok because of the data being owned by the Chinese government. What's to stop the Chinese government from buying that information from Meta?
Right.
That's a fine question. Or just stealing it.
Or just grabbing it.
Hacking in and getting
I mean, seriously though,
one additional step that they don't have with ByteDance.
I don't know if they do though.
I think they do, because I don't think they own ByteDance, but I know they can confiscate anything from ByteDance under penalty of death. They'll snag every fucking buddy in that company and send them off to Uyghur suction camp where they take your kidneys.
I think how that works is if it's within their country, they can grab that information. The data that they get...
The servers are not...
The servers are here. The servers are here.
Yeah. So for them to siphon... Let's talk about this off camera.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Because I'm very curious about this.
Yeah. I'm one of those people like I don't see it really being any different than them just purchasing
getting it anyway,
just buying it from Meta or Google or whoever,
or just sending me a coupon and getting my info that way.
Yeah, like Temu. They harass you through email to hop on Temu to get the free item, and all you have to do is buy 150 other things. And then you can get this one thing for free.
We know your browser history. I'm like Van Halen and titties. Who are you gonna tell?
I mean, they kind of go hand in hand, right?
Yeah, I'm an American.
Van Halen.
If I'm not looking at Van Halen and boobs, there's something wrong.
I tell people all the time, like if they're watching what I'm watching, I don't care as long as I don't have to pay their therapy bill. I don't care what they see of mine. Because
good luck and Godspeed.
I mean, seriously.
Leave a comment, like, and share.
Have you guys got these emails where they say, "Well, we caught you watching inappropriate
I
stuff,
never have.
and
I've got one.
we're gonna send this to all your contacts in your email." And I almost responded with this, and I'm glad I didn't, because if I had, they would have continued to harass me. But I was thinking to myself, I'm not paying their therapy bill. I don't care if they see it. I don't talk to them, those people in my family anyway. So it doesn't really matter if you show them videos of me pleasuring myself to weird shit on the internet. I don't care.
As long
Go
as
ahead.
it's not our very Smurfy Smurf myth.
Seriously,
Unless it's the Gargamel performance.
The Gargamel
Gargamel was pretty
great.
spot on. I gotta say. And although I think my what was his name?
Brainy?
Brainy Smurf. Thank you. I was a smart ass Smurf, but yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of our very Smurfy Smurfmas extracurricular activity, how many? It's almost 10,000 views on that. It's doing
On
really
Smurfs?
good. Yeah.
Oh, no.
You lie to me.
It's like
It's got to be 50,000.
It's almost like 1,000. I thought.
yeah.
Because episode 103 has 4,500 right now.
What?
Yeah, no, Clymer looked at that and she got kind of pissed.
Why did she get pissed?
Because her stuff's not good in 2 days. She got like 900 something in 2 days.
Dude.
No, that's cool.
I'm not mad about that
Yeah.
anyway. But then she's all, not like our town. I go, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Well, she's got to post more.
There you are. You
Find her
know.
followers.
You know, the thing is like I think because of how YouTube works, we get a lot more views. We don't get that many views on the normal
It was YouTube. Yeah.
on the normal podcast analytics. I mean, the stuff I'm seeing is mostly for Spotify, but there's also some other stuff on other platforms that grab the same feed. But yeah, a lot of our viewers are like young and like 20-something-year-old dudes, you know, between 25 and like 30-something.
And mostly YouTube, right?
Oh no, that's what I'm talking about on Spotify.
Oh.
And then our views on Spotify proper. I mean, not including like iTunes and whatever other platforms that grab the podcast feed, which is just audio, is not nearly as much as we're getting over on the YouTube channel. So
Yeah. Well, I got to say, I pay my dogs in treats to watch the video
The Clockwork
4,000
Orange thing
times.
with your dog.
So
Just as soon as you get to a certain point, just hit, refresh and watch it.
There's ways
Got to get like 5 or 10 minutes in and then just refresh. And then a little treat pops out.
honestly, dude, there was a
Get
time where I was
crows
like,
to do it.
I saw the amount of views it was getting on the YouTube version of it. I was like, why am I posting this to Spotify? We're not getting nearly as much on there as we are over on YouTube. And
Jeez, I exclusively listen on Spotify.
Okay.
Because on Spotify, you don't have to be watching it. I can have it on my headphones and be working.
YouTube you can too.
yeah, but you have to pay for that option.
Oh, you do? I didn't
Yeah.
know. Oh.
No, I mean
For the podcast option?
to watch to have it playing in the background.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to pay for premium to have it playing in the background.
I didn't realize that.
Otherwise, you have to watch it. Otherwise, it doesn't. Yeah, but
So that's why I listen
Yeah.
to it on. And I, more than I watch a screen, I have a screen playing, and I'm either carrying my phone or it's something, and I have headphones on. I'm doing something else.
Yeah.
I don't use Spotify for listening to podcasts. I have Podcast Addict on my phone, which is just a standard podcast app, which downloads the MP3s of whatever shows I subscribe to whenever they come out with new episodes.
Well, I'd say, put it out as many places as we can. If we get 10 views on Spotify, I'm
not
happy
hurting
with
anything.
that.
I haven't stopped doing it. I just
Right.
those moments where like
It doesn't have the-
it's not getting the same amount of traction over on the podcast side of things than it does on the YouTube side of things.
Yeah. All right, well, meanwhile, back at the podcast.
Whoa!
Meanwhile, back at the podcast.
Deep in the weeds.
Just a couple more holograms predicted by Star Wars in 1977.
Yeah.
The reality hologram projections exist today used in concert. Tupac At Coachella.
Actually,
Famously, yeah.
that
At a Coachella? Okay.
Yeah.
that is actually an old they use that type of technology. They use it at the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland.
Oh, to project.
The
ghosts.
glass and projector thing.
Yeah.
And that was created back in I think the 30s or 40s.
That's holograph. That's where you shine light through a thing, right?
Yeah, but that's-
hologram is like a
It's a projection into nothing.
yeah.
But that's what they're doing with the Tupac thing. That's what I'm saying is the thing that they do at Haunted Mansion is how they do the Tupac.
Oh.
It's not a hologram, technically speaking.
Yeah.
It's a holograph. Yeah.
And then Kiss, right?
Kiss is
They're
doing.
gonna-
Oh, yeah.
Kiss is doing.
Oh, I'm thankful.
They're making themselves into VR avatars.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're like
not a hologram.
no, it's VR and it's. I mean, I
Have
saw.
they made their own cyber currency yet?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if
The Kiss coin.
Kissbit.
I mean, their version of the Bitcoin, yeah. I don't know. Gene Simmons puts his face on everything.
Fucking hey, man.
Yeah.
I got his kid
I mean-
in college.
If I could figure out how to
Fuck, I would.
market shit, I would
Oh,
probably
yeah.
do the same thing.
But if he
Honestly,
just famously is like, you even look at it, it's like $20. Yeah. Breathing his air.
Asking him
$20 air tag.
dude, he's not on Cameo, but do you know how much money he would make off of Cameo if he actually decided to do that?
Oh, yeah. Are there any new
Be an
cameos
extra
that you-
$4,000 if you want me
Yeah.
to stick my tongue out
Yeah.
or something.
No, it's like he would charge you he'd charge you $300 just to send him a text message.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
I mean-
he is Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been on. People have talked about that man for 60 years.
Yeah, since
Right?
the
It's
late
like-
70s.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Geez. And then lastly, drone technology predicted by the Terminator series, but starting back in 1984.
But yeah, but I think a lot of sci-fi people did not really see the drone thing come because it's going to be drone deliveries and drone warfare,
Yeah.
drone. I mean, it's going to be much bigger than I think a lot
Yeah.
of sci-fi.
Yeah, I mean we're doing the drone displays instead of the fireworks stuff, and a lot of those are all. There was another instance where a bunch of drones dropped from the sky and injured somebody or killed somebody.
Oh
right?
wow, no, I didn't know
Like
that.
during one of those?
Yeah, not that
So they're
long ago.
less safe than fireworks, is what I'm hearing.
I mean,
less noisy.
does a drone crashing into a house cause the house to burn down?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how
don't-
big those drones are.
I think those drones are the ones that are like this big.
And they're maybe 15 pounds at the most.
and then they have
right?
like LED lights, and
Yeah.
they can change.
They might be those big ones that have like 8 or 9 blades spinning on it.
Those things are huge.
Those are like
They got to
the,
stay up for a while,
the-
so they got to have a pretty good sized battery pack, right?
the industrial sized ones that you use for like deliveries and stuff. The ones that have like 6 or 7 little.
Yeah.
No, it's insane. No, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Well, those are the predictions, boys, and the entertainment predictions that kind of hit and miss. But 2025.
Crazy.
It's going to be crazy. We'll give you our predictions here in a little bit if you switch over to the members only or Patreon, and you can find out what those are.
OurTownPodcast.com.
There you go. In the meantime, boys, sharing is caring.
Oh.
Any new movies, video games, restaurants, books?
I've been eyeballing Epic Games for like the past 3 weeks because when I discovered they were giving away free games, like every 24 hours is a different game they're giving away for free. I got
Steam or what's that for?
no, Epic Games is separate from Steam. It's
What games can you get?
well, they're not there. You can still get them. They just have to buy them now. But the ones I've gotten so far has been like Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Nice.
I got the one I got a couple days ago, and I've been playing it since. Is Hot Wheels Unleashed, which is just a racing game, and every track is like somebody's basement.
Oh, that's fun.
Ew.
And it's so cool. You're running around, and you're like, oh, look at that, and crashing into shit. Or I was racing the other day, and I was of the cars I was racing against, there was Kit from Knight Rider,
Nice.
the Jetsons car, and then the DeLorean, Back to the Future DeLorean, and then of the cars
problem
that
with racing that one is every time you hit it 88 miles an hour.
it disappears. That would be cool. Like if I can unlock that car. The thing is with this, because it was a free game. I think a lot of the reason why they're giving away these games for free is because there are a ton of DLCs in these games. This game has every car you see in the game you can buy. It's like $2 or $3 a piece, or you can buy a whole box of them. Of cars for like $20.
Downloadable content.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, DLC is download content.
Yeah, I mean, with Fortnite, my daughter, it's skins. In Fortnite,
yes,
they all want. Oh, Ariana Grande has her own. I got to have them all. All the stuff.
They just released a bunch of DC skins.
Did they really?
For Fortnite? Because that's another game that you can get off of Epic Games, and all the advertisements are like you can get like the Joker, you can get Batman, you can get Superman, you can get there's even like Warner Brother characters like Taz, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, all that, and you're running around as Daffy Duck with a machine gun and shooting people. Yeah, so. But yeah, no. Epic Games has been giving away games every 24 hours for the past 4 weeks.
Fortnite's $1 billion game, right?
Yeah. Apparently, it didn't start off as a battle royale game. Apparently, it was just like a 5-on-5 or 4-on-4 first-person shooter like Call of Duty teams, and where you're doing like and Call of Duty did these kinds of games first, where you're defending, the base or capture the flag. That's what Fortnite started as. Now it's become like this massive you and like 98 other people on the same server trying to like not die. And you don't start with any weapons. You have to find weapons in buildings and stuff. Apparently they just recently started doing a thing where there's like a no build mode where you don't have to worry about building shit. And I guess you start with weapons. I haven't tried it yet because I'm still kind of a little miffed of the last time I played. I wasn't able to get any goddamn guns, and I was getting killed left and right. I'm like, no, do not camp in front of the spawn point, asshole. So, yeah, I hate that.
Classic dick move.
Oh, it is absolute.
That's the video game equivalent of doing this to somebody.
It's the when you're playing hide and seek and the person is hanging out by home
by
base.
the base. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
Fuck that noise.
Oh, geez, Mike, what about you? What have you been up to, sir?
Mary and I went to go see Wicked.
Oh, nice.
And what are your thoughts?
Delightful. I thought it was wonderful.
I need to go see it again in theaters now that the audiences have calmed down, because legitimately I was in there and 3 different people were on their fucking phone the entire time. And I went and got somebody. I was so mad. And like within a minute and a half of the person leaving the auditorium, that little kid was, they were probably in their 20s. They were back on their phone again. I'm like, put your fucking phone away and watch the goddamn movie.
Yeah, no.
And they're like, excuse you? I'm like, excuse you? You're the one interrupting my experience watching this fucking movie. Put your phone away.
Or go outside.
Yeah.
No, they were doom scrolling in the middle of a fucking movie.
Weird.
God damn it. Sorry, that's
all right.
Absolutely one of the things that pisses me off.
Plus, and it's not cheap, dude.
No, you
It was
spend
like
money to get.
$15
Yes.
to walk in the door.
mean,
Plus, we got popcorn with some kind of yellow liquid on it, which was like another fucking $800.
It's
The whole thing cost us more than $60.
It's soy oil with butter flavoring in it.
Yeah.
But it's just I spent money to see this movie along with you. If you do not want to watch the movie like from beginning to end without touching your fucking phone, wait for it to hit Netflix.
Yeah.
Do not go to the theater to watch a movie.
Or sit in the very back row.
Yeah.
Write something where nobody.
Just
No,
watch it
don't
at
even
home.
do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to see light coming from behind me while I'm watching a movie.
Yeah. You saw the stage production too, right?
A couple times.
Yeah,
Which are
how did it
magnificent.
compare?
Well, it follows that pretty closely.
Right.
But it just is able to expand on that a lot, right? Just the world building and the sets and the costuming and all that stuff. It could be much more grand. And I think a lot of it, and I don't know this, but I was wondering as I'm watching it, and there, all this stuff is going on in the background, which is more than likely a partial set with CG. But what about the other cast members all on the same stage? Are they there at the same time? Or is it Ariana and, I forgot the
I don't remember her name.
Galinda and Elphaba, when they're working together, is there nobody else on the stage? And it's all just brought in through CG? I don't know, but it was flawless, and the colors were great, and I was high as fuck, which I highly recommend to go see this film, because come on.
Maybe that's why I didn't enjoy
Oh,
the
it's
movie.
magnificent. It's magnificent.
I mean, other than the fact that
yeah.
people are on their phones. But I'm just saying, I because I doom scroll on TikTok and Instagram all the time, one of the things I learned about the story of Wicked is the character Elphaba. Her name is derived from the creator's name, so L. Frank Baum. Elphaba.
That makes sense.
I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that does.
You know,
When you saw the stage production, you didn't get to see Kirsten Chenoweth?
No, she was on the first touring company. I
Idina
think.
Menzel.
And Broadway.
She and
Both of
Dinah,
them.
Dina.
Yes,
Idina
they
Menzel.
both make a cameo.
They
It's
do,
wonderful. But no, I saw one with a high school grad. The last what's that? Or maybe that. I think that was Wicked. I'll talk to Clymer, but not in a starring role, but on a supporting role.
Nice.
Yeah.
But no, they're both
No, it
great
was-
productions. Great.
I didn't know that those
Fifth
two were
Avenue and Paramount, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize those two were like the original characters from the
It's pretty
from the musical.
Yeah, and Idina got her start in the first run of what's the one they all
Rent.
die in?
Rent, right? Yeah.
Everybody
She was-
dies.
And she was
AIDS.
she was the one that famously got her name butchered by John Travolta.
Yeah.
She is a talent.
Oh, yeah.
She's a talented human being.
Because she's also,
She's also like Elsa
yeah,
on Frozen.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, for a musical theater chick, that's about as successful as you could possibly get.
Yeah.
What's funny
Right?
is I have that soundtrack because I was able to get it for free when I worked at Google.
Nice.
Because Google Play Music was giving away like albums
Yeah.
at some point because they were trying to get people to sign up for their music thing to get away from like iTunes and whatnot. And one of the free albums I got was that, and I think I got like was that EDM guy something Mouse
Oh,
Yeah.
with a 5.
yes, dang it.
Yeah.
I wanted to say Modest Mouse, but
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but like, no, that's a band from Issaquah. But yeah,
Issaquah.
him, and then there's like I think another album that I got for free, and so every once in a while when I'm listening to my collection of music,
it'll pop in.
it'll pop in. I'll hear "Let It Go," and I'm like, oh, I forgot I had that. That's right on. I actually like this song.
Nice.
But I recommend, and I don't think it needs my recommendation.
wanna build a snowman?
Successful
I-
film, but
I
it's
think I'll grab the kid maybe this weekend.
I
and
think it's really well done.
do a matinee or something.
I honestly, I like I said, I pay for the Regal Unlimited, so I should actually start using that more. And I think what I need to do is just go see movies I wouldn't normally go see,
Yeah.
so I feel like I'm not wasting my money on that shit. Because it's like $23 a month. I can go see whatever I want.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And
now-
the Galinda character is much more nuanced.
Oh my God, she is such
Yeah.
a fucking bitch in this movie. Oh God.
Well, she is and she isn't, because
she-
when chips are down, and I don't want to give away too much, but when people aren't watching her, and when people aren't watching is when you really know who somebody is, she's really good.
Oh, is she? Because
Yeah.
all I remember is her being very passive aggressive and
Yeah,
like
but
presenting
yes.
herself as being nice. I'm doing
Yeah.
good things for people while being kind of like, I deserve this because
But that's
I'm
in the spotlight. That's
Yeah.
not, you know what I mean? It's a different thing.
Yeah.
And I think because they show that nuance,
I don't know.
that adds dimension to the
I would
character
say,
in the film itself.
I would say if someone is not acting themselves because people are watching, that makes them even less of a nice person.
Well,
I mean, if you were
I think it depends.
I mean,
So-
I look at it like this: if they're pretending to not be your friend because other people are watching, that makes them a shitty person.
Yeah, that's not. That doesn't happen in this film, but
I mean, yeah, I don't know. There's a couple times where she's just like she's playing up, you know. I don't know. When she's around those other 3 people, not like the higher
You
up.
know, the guy from Saturday Night Live. It's so good.
But they
It's
have
worth
this is like the first part of one, right? Because it's coming out in
Correct,
November.
correct.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I know how it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I just.
But no, and remember at the dance or whatever, she fully puts everything on the line to befriend the underdog.
Yeah, but that felt like she was doing it to show how great of a person she is.
Oh, I don't think so
I'm
at all.
so
No,
being,
I would
I'm
think-
being super nice
yeah,
because
they had
she's
shown-
unfortunate and she needs
No,
my
that
help.
was in the initial. No, I disagree. I disagree.
all right. Well, I will go see it. I know I'm.
I need to maybe I need to
Yeah.
rewatch it because that's how I remember. She's just a very fake friend.
No, it's
Just-
a much more
just grab your
nuanced
phone.
character than your.
do a little scrolling while you're in the movie.
no, I'm never gonna
What's
do
the
that.
character really like?
Yeah. No, I couldn't do that either. I watched a couple things. Watched the new In the Thicket or The Thicket with Juliette Lewis,
Oh.
who I do really like
Oh,
her
very much.
I think I ended up renting it for money, but it was like $2.99. It's Peter Dinklage, and then a bunch of sort of known actors, recognizable faces, but I couldn't name them right now. And then, of course, Juliette Lewis plays the bad guy in it, and it's a turn-of-the-century Western. And she kidnaps this kid's sister. He might be 20, something like that, and he has to go get her back from Juliette Lewis, who's a ruthless gunslinging killer, bank robber, all the things. So,
I did, however, watch Carry On yesterday.
oh, I've seen that. It was okay.
It was it wasn't terrible, but it felt like a new interpretation of Die Hard 2. Because it takes place.
Yeah, kinda.
It takes place in an airport. There's a bad guy who wants to blow up a plane, and don't know really why until the very end why.
Right.
But it was entertaining. I think that might become a series of movies.
Yeah, entertaining, and it's free on Netflix. So
All right.
check that out.
It's
I let my
Egerton,
Netflix
the
expire.
kid from
Joel Edgerton,
sure.
or no?
And Jason
Tegerton.
Bateman, right?
It's that Scottish kid from Sing. He plays the monkey. He's
yeah.
also
He was
in those.
also in that Robin Hood.
Yeah. It's
He's also in the
and something.
that spy movie where he's like
The Kingsman.
Kingsman. Yeah, he's in the Kingsman
Yeah,
movies.
like
Yeah. But check out The Thicket. It's good.
Is that Netflix?
I got it off a Prime rental.
All right.
I don't know. It might be coming to Max or something where you can get it for free.
He also played Elton John in the biopic.
Oh yes, he was Elton John in the biopic.
Thank you.
And then we finished Bad Sisters on Apple TV. That's the Irish film or the TV show about the five sisters.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a season 2 for that.
That is season 2. We just finished
Oh.
season 2.
All right.
Season 1, A+. Really good. Season 2, B-. It felt a little rushed at the end. Wasn't as well written as the first season. But if you get a chance, watch them because they're really good. And a lot of good Irish scenery where they live. A lot of Irish coastline. Just fun and quirky, dark comedy.
Yeah.
And then I've been watching the new season of Silo on Apple TV too. If you get a chance, I think they're trying to do 5 seasons of it, and I'm halfway through. Or
What's it about?
so Silo, people when the show starts, there's 10,000 people that live in an underground silo. Nobody knows why they're there, but it's been generations there.
Oh, man.
And they have a pact. Basically a constitution that everybody lives by, and everything must be done for the silo. And there's class in the silo. The higher up you live in the silo, the better off you're in IT, or you're in government, or you're in whatever.
So
If you're all the way down, they call them the down belowers. You're like mechanical, right? You're grease monkeys, and then they have people that live all the way up. So picture this huge cylinder that goes all the way down, and there's a spiral staircase that takes you 190 90 levels or something like that. It takes like 2 days to walk from the top to the bottom because you have to stop.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's family planning because they can't get too big, and there's levels of farm levels where they have UV light that grows food for everybody, but you're basically in this fucking silo. Everything's recycled, so it's pretty fascinating. If you're done with something, I'm going to toss it.
Does anybody get to the surface ever? No.
So the problem is the belief is that the surface is deadly. And if you go out, you're done. And if you want, you can say, I want to go out. And then that's an instant death sentence. But you're done with the silo. I want to go out. Or if
And they'll let you go out?
and they'll let you go out. And then, or if you commit a heinous crime, you're sent out
So it's like The Village.
But,
on a huger scale.
Yeah, on a much bigger
On
scale.
a
But it's
much bigger scale, but they want to keep you. So there is political intrigue. Tim Robbins is in it.
Oh.
He's kind of a douchebag, but I think he thinks he has good intentions because he wants to keep the silo functioning. So there's one gal that discovers some secrets. Oh, and there's Common, the actor rapper.
Yeah.
He plays like the secret police guy,
Oh, okay.
right? And so there's like if somebody found an old phone or a Bic pen or something from the old days, right? One of the things is a Ducky Pez dispenser. They call that
artifact?
like an artifact, and it's forbidden. It's verboten, so you have to turn that in. And if you get discovered with it, you could be arrested and
Because they want
punished.
to maintain what
Right.
happened.
Yeah.
They want to
Yeah.
maintain, right?
So when you go out of the silo, you're asked to clean because there is a camera that is outside, and that's how they can watch the night sky and all this stuff. So they send people out, and the people die within like 2 or 3 minutes, and everybody's waiting to see if they're going to clean for them or wipe the camera lens so they get a clearer view and they can see the night sky and the stars and all
But
that
nobody's
stuff.
ever made it that far.
Well, they clean,
Oh.
but then they turn around, take about 10 steps, and then they collapse and die.
Oh.
So the main character, who I really like, can't think of her name. She's in Dune. She plays the kid, Timothy Chalamet, whatever his name is, mother in Dune, the blonde lady.
I don't know what her name is.
I don't know what her name is either, but she's the main character. She becomes the sheriff in the first season, but then because she discovers all this stuff, she wants to go out. So she gets out and discovers that it's a massive complex of all these individual silos.
Wow.
So you're just like, there's probably 1 million people because each one of these silos has 10,000 people in it, and they're all following the same. So it's like, who created this? So it's an interesting world that they built.
Yeah.
So
That's why it's like it feels like
Yeah.
The Village, because like you don't know the Village is actually not in like the 14th century or whatever it was.
Right.
You're like, oh, they're on like a private property that has like private security that keeps track of the border of this property.
Yeah.
And it's
I mean, there's a little Orwellian stuff, but it's not as harsh as the Orwellian stuff. But if you start, and there's secret areas, and they have to recycle all their water. They have to, it's kind of fascinating.
people drinking their own pee.
Well, it's recycled.
Well, we all do.
Still,
Dinosaur piss, right? So if you get a chance, I mean, I think I've got maybe 2 or 3 episodes left in season 2, but I did read somewhere where they're going to do 5 seasons.
Jeez,
of this.
that's Apple TV, isn't it?
Apple TV. Yeah.
have you watched that series that Harrison Ford is doing?
I haven't. The wife's been watching it. She
Oh my
says
god,
it's really good.
It's really good. It
Yeah.
really
Oh,
is.
and, Jason Segel?
Segel, and Ted McGinley.
Yeah.
But it's really good. It every episode is like another therapy session with these guys, and it has to do with Jason's character. In the beginning, in the first season, you find out that his wife was in an accident and was killed. So he's going through all this therapy because he's dealing with the loss of his wife, and his daughter and him are kind of like not really communicating because of this, and he's kind of withdrawn, and she's trying to get him to talk to her, and he won't, and so Ford is his therapist and also his boss. They're both therapy practitioners, I guess you could say, therapists, it's a great story. Season 2 just came out. I just finished watching season 2.
I know she was watching an episode. I walked in on the scene, and the guy that was in the accident with his wife had come in, and the guy was like wanting to reach out and apologize, and he's just like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Well, it's because the daughter found the guy who was driving the car that killed her mother and was talking to him and like she was trying to work through her shit by talking to this guy. Said, "Look, this is what my mom was like, and this is what we no longer have because of what you did."
And he walked in on
He walked in on that guy who killed his wife talking to his daughter.
Oh no, this was at the business. So he was in the lobby, and Siegel comes walking out, and he sees him, and he's like, "Leave."
Oh, that's right. He did show up at where Siegel works. That's right.
All. That's as much as I've watched.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it is a really good show. I really enjoy it. Yeah.
All right, well, let's end this here program, boys, on something positive before we jump into our top 5 predictions in the bonus round. Michelle Obama said, we need to do a better job of putting ourselves higher on our own to-do list. So if you're making some resolutions for the year, 1080p, Todd,
4K.
Put yourself high on the
8K,
repair list. And then James Baldwin,
genius.
Yes, said nothing can be changed until it's faced. So you gotta face it before you can change it.
Yeah. Acknowledge it and move on. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, folks, for being here. Happy 2025 to you. Keep in touch with us throughout the year. Let us know how you're doing.
Yeah.
We'll be here letting you know how we're doing.
You can call and leave a voicemail or send us an email. All the links are on ourtownpodcast.com.
Do it. Until next week.
See you.
Bye.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you think this episode is worth $1 or $5, the boys would love to have it. Please go to ourtownpod.store for merch or to donate now. For less than a cup of coffee, you can also join the website in the member-only area for exclusive bonus content, vlogs, and more. It's just $3 a month or $30 a year. Thank you for listening to this production of Our Town Podcast Extraordinaire.